Okay, we are live. We should be live. We should be. Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're live. What's going on, guys? How you doing? How are you guys doing? It is Thursday in the UK. Cold, wet, icy, gloomy. Really, really gloomy. And yeah, I saw that Boxing Brains. I saw that. Yeah, Manuel Char versus Lucas Brown is now off. Heartbreaking news. Heartbreaking news. Honestly, I was actually looking forward to that fight for some reason. It was a nonsense fight, like pure degenerate fight, but I was looking forward to it to a certain degree. And when you look at this weekend now, there's not many great fights going on. Arslanbek Makhmudov is fighting on Friday, the heavyweight prospect, but he's fighting Michael Wallish. Not interested in that. That'll be over in a couple of rounds, so that's not great. Jarrell Miller is back in action this weekend. Jarrell Miller is fighting in Kazakhstan, believe it or not. So that's happening on Friday. You've got that to look forward to. What else is going down this weekend? What else is going down this weekend? I'm sure there's a card in America, I want to say. There's a card in America. Okay. Just having a look quickly. Just having a look. What's actually happening this weekend? It's absolutely. It looks shit. It looks shit. Conor Ben's expecting twins. Yeah, I know, right? I'm hoping we hear about that here. You know, when's the hearing going to happen? When are we going to get like a confirmation on what's going on? Is he going to get banned? Is he not? We shall see. I don't think he will. To be honest. Oh yeah, we've got Dan Aziz versus Rocky Fielding this weekend at light heavyweight. That is for Dan Aziz British light heavyweight title and the Commonwealth title. I guess that's a good fight for Dan Aziz at this stage. Also, Chris Billum Smith is on that card as well. So you've got a card on Sky, not a great card though. And in America, a good fight on Showtime. Michael Riviera against Frank Martin. That's a good fight at lightweight. Two unbeaten guys going at it. And also on the undercard, you've got Jose Uskatigi versus Vladimir Shishkin, who's a decent up and comer. So there's a card in America as well, but it's not a great weekend. Obviously, a week before Christmas. I'm not surprised. To be honest with you, not surprised. What's up, Ray? Reyes, how you doing? A good fight, Reyes won. It's hard to say though because both guys, to me at least, they're kind of hot and cold. Like for example, Felix Cash looked great against Denzel Bentley. Then against the Russian dude Magomed Madaev, he looked really poor, really vulnerable. And even in his last comeback fight, he looked pretty shit. And the same thing goes for Ammo Williams. Like the last couple of fights he's had, I've not really been all that impressed. But at the same time, he's had a couple of fights where he looks really good. It's hard to say. I think a lot of that honestly, I think a lot of that's going to be down to where that fight takes place in America or the UK. That could have a lot to do with it. But that's a good fight. Two unbeaten guys going at it. Two up and comers going at it. They are the sort of fights we need. I like that fight. I would lean towards Ammo Williams, but don't hold me to that. Yeah, that was a great fight when he fought Delamangi. Yeah. No Lucas Brown, Manuel Char. Devastated. Yeah, Martin versus Rivera. Yeah, it's a good fight. That's a good fight. I've got Frank Martin. Conor Benn is showing to me how dumb he is. I bet his team are telling him he's innocent, and he's just thinking, well, if they say that, it must be true. Maybe he's heard something, though. Because if it comes out now that he gets banned, he looks like a fucking idiot. He really does. Listen, man, those gloves are fucking suspect. I don't care what anybody says. Like, the fact that people are trying to brush that under the carpet is crazy to me. Crazy. Like, nobody's even willing to look into it or launch, like, an investigation. What's up, Iceman? How you doing? And by the way, guys, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. More than likely, I won't stream again on this channel until after Christmas. And if I don't, most important thing is you guys have a Merry Christmas. If you celebrate, of course. Albanian boxer, you're too funny. Anyone looked into the Nebraska Commission glove rules? Maybe they're like the British Boxing Board of Control, and they allow fighters to wear uninspected gloves. Well, yeah, I mean, apparently there was another fighter a few years ago who went through something similar. He wasn't allowed to inspect his opponent's gloves, something along those lines. Yes, that's a great fight, by the way. With Matthias versus Ponce being targeted for February, who do you think wins? Ponce's good, but you'd have to go with Matthias. I would agree. I would agree. I think Matthias is too big, too strong. I think that Ponce can match him in terms of output, in terms of work rate. I think Ponce can match him. However, the more damaging shots are going to be coming from Matthias, and I think that will wear him down. It's a great fight, though. I like both guys. Oh, big up to yourself, Iceman. Thank you, man. Merry Christmas to you too. Have a great Christmas, and more importantly, have a great New Year. You know, that's one thing we all need to improve next year, man. We all need to improve in any which way we can, whether it's in terms of health, our social circles, financial, whatever it may be, whatever you want to improve in. You know, do your best. You know, keep grinding, do your best. I'll tune in, G-Man. If I'm about, I'll tune in. Apparently, Everlast just said that they had a pair of defective leather. Sorry, they had some defective leather or something, and the gloves were the faults. Well, okay. Also, Merry Christmas. Yeah, you too, man. But again, I mean, that's fair. That's fair word, man. Fight of the year? Hard to say. Hard to say. What's been the fight of the year? Honestly, Conlon versus Wood is up there for me. Conlon versus Wood was one of my favorite fights this year. I'm tempted to say Conlon Wood. And nah, it's not going to happen, bro. I've seen that guy fight before. Bit of a journeyman. If Haney beats Lomachenko, then do you see him heading back to DAZN? Yeah, I think he will, Jay's Boxing Universe. I think he'll go back to DAZN. Yeah, some good fights this on January, yeah. But yeah, like you say, January is usually awful. But yeah, there's some good fights for January. Smith versus Eubank. That's a good fight in my opinion. Beterbiev versus Yard. I think Beterbiev wins, but it's going to be fun. Charlo versus Zhu. Great fight. Even F.A. Ajagba versus Oscar Rivas. That's a good fight. And Lara versus Wood. It could happen from what I'm hearing. Yeah, I think I might agree. G-Man, I think I might agree. Knockout of the year. Plant's knockout was good. See, I'm having a really hard time remembering. It's been such a manic year, man. Such a manic year. Who else got knocked out this year? Like brutal knockouts. I don't even remember. Even Harvey Price could score Paddy versus Gordon. Yeah, Paddy got a gift decision. That guy is fraudulent on every single level. every single level. He appeals to the lowest common denominator. He's an absolute clown, and he'll get exposed by anybody half decent. And he got exposed last weekend, but he got a gift decision. He fucking sucks. Everything about him is just so forced, so manufactured. Stupid fucking haircut. Copies Conor McGregor's lines. Guy's a bum, in my opinion. Don't like him at all. Actually, that's a good shout as well. You could argue that fight's fight of the year and knockout of the year. You can very easily argue that because Conlon was out for a long time. Plus, he fell out of the ring as well. That's a brutal knockout. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I heard he got in trouble with the law. I don't know. I don't know whether that's true or not. Also, I heard rumors of him fighting maybe Masternak. Maybe. Yeah, 2022 hasn't been great in my opinion. I don't think it's been great at all. Like this year, I've really slacked on boxing content. I can't lie. I've really slacked. I've not really put in any work this year on boxing. I found it really hard to say I'd like to get motivated. I'm hoping next year is easier. Holocaust, I like it. Even back then, January was crap. Yeah. Hello, Heisensberg. What's up? What's up, Levi? How you doing? Levi Khan, salute. Hopefully you're keeping well, Levi. Paddy loses to any top 15, even Tony Ferguson now. Tony's so shot though, Albanian boxer, you never know. Tony is shot to bits. Tony is shot to bits. But yeah, I agree though, he'll get exposed by anybody decent. Yeah, Paddy applies to those who still love Conor McGregor. They are people saying mental health, oh, I was in a bad place. Paddy's a clown. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Paddy's an absolute clown. Oh, mental health this, mental health that. And all he does is like fucking shit on people and bully people. The guy's an arse clown. The guy's an arse clown, in my opinion. I don't like people. Listen, I'm all for banter. I'm all for trash talk. I'm all for clowning people, honestly, but never punch down. Never punch down. And that's the sort of guy Paddy is, in my opinion. Just don't punch down. Jay Opataya, yeah, he had his jaw broken by Briadis, yeah. I guess he's still recovering from that as well. No, I don't think he is Jay's boxing universe. He's a compact guy with a really good jab, good power puncher. He is a bit of a one at a time fighter. He's not real. It's usually the jab, the overhand right. He's really good in the exchanges. He can exchange with you and land hard shots. He's a dangerous guy, in my opinion, and he impressed me against Butayev. I think that's a hard fight for Virgil Ortiz. That's a hard fight. It's a good fight as well. I'd listen, bro. Whoever knocks him out, Reyes, I will support. I will get behind. Well, if from what I heard, Mike, they're handmade. They are handmade, so they'll be made individually, I guess, right? And yes, Merry Christmas to you as well, Mike. Merry Christmas. Yeah, 2-round job. Shit fight for Makhmedov. At least he's staying active, but it's garbage fight. I'm doing good, Heisensberg. I'm doing good. Joshua Clottey. Oh, sorry, Joshua Conley. I thought you said Joshua Clottey. Stephen Butler is what, fringe level at 154? He's all right, I guess. Yeah, Paddy's close to passing Tony Bellew as my least favourite scouser. Never thought it would happen. Well, listen, life is full of surprises, G-Man. Life is full of surprises. I wonder what 2023 is going to throw up for us. I wonder. Because the last few years have been chaotic, to say the least. Regardless of what is thrown up, what we have to contend with. I know I'll get through it. I I don't have much faith in the rest of humanity. I can't lie, but I know I'll get through it. So it's all Gucci. It's all Gucci. Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll move up Slime, but I don't think he's going to fight Fulton. I think Fulton is also moving up. He's going to go to super featherweight. I think the fight to make, in my opinion, I wouldn't be shocked to see Inoue versus Neri for a vacant WBC title if Fulton goes up. I wouldn't be shocked to see that fight. Yeah, I know about that Levi Khan. Yeah, hopefully that guy gets what's coming to him in prison. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say because those people are irredeemable. I mean, I see people on Twitter and on social media trying to advocate for, you know, therapy and rehabilitation for those sort of people. No, those people should just be taken out, in my opinion. Oh yeah, Dustin would kill Paddy Pimblett. He would kill Paddy Pimblett. No worries, TZR. No worries. Hopefully you have a good Christmas as well, bro. Yeah, he's fighting in Kazakhstan, Levi Khan. He's fighting in Kazakhstan. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, the last few years have been crazy. Yeah, I agree. Just keep grinding away and keep a strong circle. I agree. But yeah, I'm the same really. I don't really have much faith in the general population, but I'm sure we'll be fine. That's a good question actually, because yeah, he started at featherweight where he looked good, but at lightweight the knockouts have dried up. He's not looking as good. He needs to go back down, in my opinion. He needs to go back down. Do you think Sky will win the purse bid for Okoli versus Light? And Matchroom will still claim one more fight on Okoli's contract to piss off Boxer? Yeah, I think that I wouldn't be shocked to see that happen. Honestly, I've not really looked into that situation. I've not really looked into it. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see Eddie Hearn and his public persona change over the years. It's starting to change. I'm telling you this now, right? He's starting to resemble Frank Warren a lot more as the years go by. A lot more. My man is starting to come across a little bit bitter, a little bit vindictive. And yeah, back in the day, I mean, there was this narrative that Eddie would never use legal action against one of his fighters, but here we are. Here we are. I mean, he's a businessman like the rest of them. I know Sean Strickland. I've not really seen him fight that much, but I know who he is. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. They should be those, shouldn't they, Heisenberg? Those sort of people should not be walking the face of this planet. Not only that, any normalization of such behavior should be dealt with severely, in my opinion. And that is going on right now, as far as I'm concerned, in mainstream media and things of that nature. I believe this is that sort of depravity. I'm not even going to call it degeneracy because that doesn't do it justice. But that kind of depravity is being pushed, in my opinion, and slowly but surely, you're going to see. Who knows? I'm hoping I'm wrong, but slowly but surely, I think you're going to see this as a more mainstream topic when it comes to the rights of these individuals. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I mean, look at is it Harriet Harman in the UK? She was part of the PIE Act, the PIE, it was called, the Paedophile Information Exchange Act, where her and various other Labour politicians back in the day, I think it's Harriet Harman, but herself and other Labour politicians were advocating for the age of consent to be lowered to like 14. And these are the people in which we trust to run our societies. Insane. But yeah, I mean, the push to make this shit more normalized is real. And yeah, just there you go. That's how I see it. And it's disgusting. Yeah, exactly. Smash that like. I think an investigation needs to transpire, Iceman. first and foremost. Anybody who says that there should be no investigation is crazy. The fact that there are people out there talking about that fight and not bringing it up is crazy to me. You saw a guy getting knocked out with illegal gloves. That's the reality. That is the reality of the situation. That's it. He got knocked out with defective gloves being illegal. Whether it's Crawford's fault or not is a different matter. Maybe he actually had faulty gloves, but that doesn't absolve the Nebraska State Athletic Commission for allowing that fight to continue. Fighters are supposed to have spare gloves. Why weren't they used? I mean, they looked at them. Why was this fight allowed to continue? I mean, and people saying anybody who's questioning it's a hater, or you hate Terence Crawford. Insane. That's how clapped though some people are. They're denying obvious reality. Like, it's insane. Linares lost to some random Russian dude. I think the Okolie situation is rubbish. I think Eddie's being awkward. On the other hand, I think Okolie was lucky to be kept on after the Chamberlain and Askin fights. Yeah, there is that as well. I think both guys are just being a little bit silly now. It should have really been handled behind closed doors. And yeah, that's it. Should have been handled behind closed doors. I think he's done. I think Scott Fitzgerald is done. Albanian boxer. I think he's done. I can't see him coming. Maybe he comes back, but he won't be successful. Too much time out of a ring. He's been on God knows what medication as well. That shit takes it out of you. I'm sure it does. I've seen people take that sort of medication. We're talking about like SRIs and these antidepressant medications, and they're not the same person. They are not the same person. And even when they come off, man, there's something different. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. And we all know Scott Fitzgerald's been dosed up on all of these sort of medications. When he comes back, man, he's going to be done. He's going to be toasted. He's going to be toasted. Yeah, it just looked like a going through the motions fight to me, Iceman. That's what it looked like to me. Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. I wish promoters would take big fights to other locations in the world, like Asia and Africa. What do you think? That's one of the only things I'll give Don King credit for. Yeah, he took boxing everywhere, Don King. We are starting to get fights in the Middle East. I don't really mind fights in the Middle East, to be honest. In fact, I'm all for it because when it comes to fighters who usually fight in America, when they fight in the Middle East, it's a good time for me. I'm all for more boxing in the Middle East. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I like it. But I agree. I do agree, though. I'd like to see bigger events elsewhere. Be good to see. Okay. I've not seen that fight. Yeah. That whole situation, though, needs to be looked at. It needs to be looked at. The gloves need to be inspected by some sort of independent investigator, and as do the Nebraska State Athletic Commission. There has to be investigations. I don't see how somebody can watch that and say, yeah, just let it go. I would say, so he's going to go to featherweight next. I think super featherweight's his limit, his absolute limit. And even then, I think once he gets to super featherweight, he's going to start losing attributes. So do I, Levi. That's the main thing. But, he's one of those guys where I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if he could come back and live a normal life. I think that story is going to end badly. And I hope I'm wrong. The guy could have really, really capitalized on those wins over Fowler and Ted Cheeseman, but he never did. It's a shame. There's nothing, there's nothing worse than wasted talent. Nothing worse. especially for the individual who wants. There'll be some point in time when he'll look back and regret a lot, and you can't take that shit back. Yeah, same about Scott Fitzgerald in 2019. Was he was on a high. Yeah, he won't come back, Scott Fitzgerald. Again, I'll always go back to the interview. You know when he tried to come back before. So he had some time out of the ring after the Ted Cheeseman fight, and he came back in like an 8-rounder. And he did some interviews that week leading up to that 8-rounder. I forget which card it was on. It was on a Big Sky card. And the interviews in which he gave, man, he was zoned out. He was clearly medicated. Clearly medicated. He was on all sorts of fucking antidepressants and God knows what else. And that's even if he comes back though, like I said, that'll wreck him. Again, I've seen people on those medications and they're never the same. They're never the same. Not really. Heisenberg, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I wouldn't trust Tyson Fury as far as I could throw him. I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, bro. I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, those two guys could have fought as well. Yeah, Don King's still taking boxing everywhere, from the Congo doghouse to Middle America, to a Middle American high school gymnasium. Oh my God, yeah, the Daniel Dubois fight was tragic, man. Absolutely tragic. Couldn't believe. I'm sure B Team must have been embarrassed to put that shit on TV. Crazy. Well, we'll see. That's going to get swept under the rug, though. You know, that's going to get swept under the rug. Though the same people who say, "Oh, there's nothing to see here," are the same people who will say Antonio Margarito was a cheat. He's banged to rights, no objections or anything, despite there being very little evidence in regards to what Margarito apparently did. Look at the evidence in regards to Margarito, or lack thereof. That's why he was never. I mean, if Margarito was as guilty as Nazim Richardson made out, oh, bricks fell out of his gloves, whatever he said, plaster blocks fell out of his gloves, he would have had a prison sentence. Margarito. He would have had a prison sentence. There was an interview surrounding that case where it was Margarito's old trainer. Was it Jorge Capetillo? And he I forget who the channel was, but it was a really interesting interview where he was talking about the various goings on of the case and what actually happened according to his side. I can't find that interview anywhere though. I really want to go back and look at that case. I'd like to make a video on it, but I just can't find the sources that I need. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. He just went AWOL and went crazy, basically, getting himself in trouble, doing various illicit drugs outside the ring. The guy's just a head case. Yeah, best featherweight in the world right now: Navarrete, Lara, Robese, Ramirez. It's hard to say with featherweight. I think there's a lot of intriguing matchups. I wouldn't say there's a number one guy right now. I think Ray Vargas is there also. There's some really good fights to make, but it's whether they happen. It's whether they happen. That's the thing. And I think Navarrete is going to 130, by the way, because Navarrete was supposed to fight Oscar Valdez at 130 for the vacant title, WBO, but what's his name? Oscar Valdez got injured, so yeah. Oh yeah, Dubois going nowhere fast. He's got a glass chin, questionable heart, and yeah, he's a scam. Let's be real, Daniel Dubois. Really, with Dubois, they need to take their time with him, but because he's got that regular belt, he can't really take that sort of time, you know, and he's going to get exposed real soon. And speaking of Dubois, you see that the WBA have ordered Usyk to fight Dubois to consolidate the titles. Have you noticed something, right? Have you? I saw this tweet on Twitter. It's not my content, but have you noticed whenever a guy like Beterbiev or Golovkin or Usyk has multiple titles, all of a sudden Mandos are called left, right, and center. But when certain other guys have Mandos, they're never called. Look at Errol Spence, for example, the IBF. When was his last IBF Mando? Errol Spence. It's insane. Yeah, he is. Yeah, Navarrete is going to 130. I like Navarrete, though. I like Navarrete, so hopefully he gets that Valdez fight again. Yeah. Leo Santa Cruz, though, he should just retire Jay's Boxing Universe. I was high on that guy a long time ago. I always thought he was underrated, but yeah, I mean, he kind of just cucked to Al Heyman, basically. And he got fattened up and cashed out against Tank. That's basically what happened. Could have been a much better fighter, though, with a much better legacy. Yeah, I plan to, but I need to find the sources. There was an interview. There was an interview with his. I'm sure it was with his trainer. Was it Jorge? I think it's Jorge Capetillo or something like that. Yeah, he's another bum, in my opinion. I'm already getting sick of him. Again, just that sort of he's that fighter who appeals to the lowest common denominator. Just a fucking ticket seller. Can't fight. That's a very good. Do you know what? Actually, I say we get David Price out of retirement. We get David Price out of retirement. Give him a fat camp, then a training camp, 8-week training camp. Dubois versus David Price. I'd pay to see that shit because somebody's getting knocked out. Glass is getting shattered in that fight. I reckon the first power punch landed by either guy results in a knockout or a knockdown, or somebody gets badly hurt. Yeah, Nazim is on Sekbak's video saying he took Margot's raps to Mosley's dressing room. That means the chain of custody was broken. Who's to say he didn't put those traces of plaster of Paris in them? Yeah, exactly. That's why the shit got thrown out. And again, you yourself made a great video on Nazim Richardson in regards to Steve Cunningham. If you still have that video, man, you need to upload that again. That was a great video. Because I wasn't aware of that until I saw that video. And how shifty he was acting, man, when he got caught. It was insane. Usyk is going to piss all over him. I'm no interest in that fight. Dubois should fight Jared Anderson. Honestly, listen, I think Anderson is a very talented fighter in terms of athleticism. He gets tagged up, though. I don't like how his upper body's quite upright. When he kind of backs up, his chin's in the air and he backs up in straight lines. He's got that that sort of Tank Davis / Broner type footwork. He's got a lot of athletic ability, but I think he needs time. Jared Anderson, I think he needs time. Top Rank, though, are the right promoters for him because they're going to match him correctly. But honestly, I think Anderson might beat Dubois. I think he might knock him out. Exactly, yeah. Jamal Charlo out of a ring for basically 2 years. You've got Carlos Adames, who's won the interim title, yet that fight wasn't ordered at the latest WBC convention. How so? Insane. Whereas a 40-year-old Golovkin, Erislandy Lara's been called, as well as Falcao. I think it's Falcao with the IBF. Crazy. I think you might be right, bro. I think you might be right. I think you might be right. Yeah, exactly. Jamel does smell. Let's be honest, Charlo would have moved up if Benavidez wasn't at 168. Yeah, Jamal Charlo's one of those guys I'm just not interested in anymore. Not interested. The guy could have been someone, in my opinion, when he was coming up. I know he was a fucking massive guy at 154, and that was a big part of his success. But he still looked so much more dynamic back then in terms of hand speed, accuracy, punch variety. He looked so much better back then, like a really good boxer puncher. But these days, man, he seems to have regressed. It's a jab, 1-2, followed by a left hook, rinse and repeat. So basic, up and down, no special effects, as what his name would say. Average fighter. I think he'll get exposed when he comes back. I really do. He's got worse, Jamal Charlo. I mean, look at what Adames did to what's his face. I can't even fucking recall the guy's name. That Mexican dude. Yeah, first fight where both guys get knocked out simultaneously. I would watch that fight though. I would watch that fight. Honestly though, I found the aftermath to that fight very interesting. Very interesting. I'm not really familiar with Marvin Vittori. I'm not really that familiar with him. I know he's a UFC fighter, but I've not really seen him fight. But if he's not getting knocked out in MMA, he must have a pretty good chin. Montiel, that's the one. Yeah, Montiel's the guy Charlo struggled with, whereas Adames took him out with ease. See, again, where's the push for that fight? I think that's a good fight. Charlo versus Adames. I'll take it right now. I'll take it. But I don't know. We'll see in 2023 what happens with the PBC. I think they might be in trouble, but because I know Showtime are they're getting taken over by Paramount, so we'll see how that affects them. I wonder though, if Al Heyman loses his deal with Showtime, is that the end of PBC? Because he's gone through so many different networks: Showtime, Fox, Spike TV, NBC. He's gone through all of these different fucking outlets, and they've all given him the boot. So we'll see we'll see what happens. Do I give Yard a chance against Beterbiev? Listen, I think he's got a 15% chance, maybe. He can hit a bit. He can hit relatively hard. He's quite quick. He's explosive. He'll be dangerous early on, and that'll make the fight somewhat intriguing. But I think he'll get overwhelmed quite quickly. More than likely, he'll get stopped mid rounds. I would say, but it could be fun. I think Yard's style makes it fun because you never know with his speed and explosiveness. But yeah, I think Anthony Yard, though, again, has the preparation been ideal going into this fight? You look at the matchmaking in his career, man. I mean, going into the Kovalev fight, sorry, he fought absolutely nobody, and that was we saw the result of that in that fight. He was lacking in basically every department in that fight. Since then, he's come back. He's fought Lyndon Arthur twice, where he lost one fight, destroyed him in a rematch. He's not really done much since Kovalev. Where's the experience come from? Where's he's not been fighting for different styles and whatnot. He's still with that bum trainer, Tunde. So yeah, I think Beterbiev knocks him out. But you know, I think Yard's one of those guys again who's kind of been. I don't think he'd ever be a world champion, but I think he should be a much better fighter than he is right now. I think he's got a lot more. He had a lot more potential than he's shown us. I think Yard was had a lot of raw ability. But how old is he now? 31, 32? I think that's it for Yard now. This is as good as he'll be. The price that Fort Allen beats Daniel Dubois, the Scouse Klitschko would have been too much. I agree. Yeah, Dubois perplexes me in terms of his desire and what he wants in life. He doesn't seem all there, not trying to be rude. Yeah, the guy's socially awkward as hell. Yeah, I don't care about that Jay's boxing universe. When boxing fans look at the UFC and say, "Oh, UFC fighters aren't paid enough," bloody bloody blah, and they'll list all of these boxers' purses, but who's getting the better product? I don't give a fuck how much these guys are getting paid. I care what fights are happening, and UFC on a whole are putting on better fights consistently, and also less rigged fights, less fights where the deck is stacked against a guy. They do happen, of course. We saw that with Paddy Pimblett this weekend, but on a whole, I think more of the fights are fair. I would say in the UFC. Yeah, absolutely, he is. Any good boxing bets or underdogs? I made a bit of money on Luis Alberto Lopez this past weekend, but I was too late because when I first looked at that fight a few weeks ago, Lopez was a bigger underdog than he turned out to be. I think Lopez on the night was only 5-4, maybe. Yeah, PBC on ABC. Yeah, Yard probably has a better chance than Smith due to raw athleticism and speed. He'd still get chinned though. Yeah, I think so as well. PBC on Bounce. Yeah, Malik Scott versus Tony Thompson. Yeah, I do recall that. Yeah, some random ass TV networks. I still give Jamal Charlo shit for that Korobov fight. That fight was scheduled on 3 days' notice, and Korobov had to drop an extra 4 pounds because his fight was at a catch weight. Yeah, the guy's a bum. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens though when you fight once a year. And when you're fighting bums. He's not staying sharp, he's not keeping active, his skills are regressing. And yeah, that's what happens when you're not tested for a long period of time. But I don't, and again, I've got no hope or no faith in Charlo coming back and really doing much. I can't see it. I can't see it. I think the best he could do is maybe he could beat like an Andrade. He could knock out Andrade. I think Jamal Charlo at his best would knock out Andrade, but I don't know now, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, their numbers are shit. Yeah, Showtime's numbers are shit. Yeah. Callis Howland is just trying to save face. That's all he's doing, really. But again, I mean, at the end of the day, listen, if both guys agree to it, who are we to say they shouldn't have fought? Yeah, Kovalev did box really well against Yard. That jab to body and head was so nice. The jab to the chest area was the jab. That was death by 1,000 jabs. You know, that totally drained Yard's gas tank. Totally drained him. And he took him out. You know, they say the jab has, the side effects can make you tired and wary and, lethargic. That's exactly what Kovalev's jab did to Anthony Yard. There you go. There you go. If Anthony Yard was a anti-vaxxer, he would have won that fight. Oh dear. What will Tunde say after he loses? He's really screwed, Yard. Yeah, he'll make some fucking excuse. He'll make some fucking excuse. Yeah, lions in the camp. Yeah, I thought that fight was quite clear to Lopez. I didn't see a majority decision. At best case, it was 7-5 Lopez. But I think 8-4 was more fair. Yeah, the guy's a weirdo, man. I'm not gonna lie. The guy's a weirdo. People were asking Daniel Dubois for photos, and he ignored them so awkwardly. Yeah. Again, you know my theory on Dubois, though. You know, he kind of he was basically groomed to be a boxer by his dad. You know, there's stories that he never went out. He was always focusing on training and whatnot. Probably one of those guys that probably stunted his like growth growing up in terms of like socialization and things of that nature. Probably never went out outside of school or anything like that. You know, that Michael Jackson effect, basically. You know, that Michael Jackson effect. That's what that thing that whole the whole Dubois thing. That's what it reminds me of. And I would say he probably doesn't even want to be a boxer because that's what I see. Every time I see this guy have a bit of trouble, it looks like he wants to check out. It looks like he wants to check out. I don't think he really wants to be a boxer, to be honest with you. He's basically just doing it because his dad forced him. What do you think of the fight they're trying to make between Alberto Lopez and Michael Conlan? I think it could be a good fight, but I think Lopez's awkward, unorthodox style is going to trouble Michael Conlan, who's more of a fundamentally sound technical boxer. Yeah, I think he might get. I think he might get overwhelmed there. Yeah, there was a betting scandal, right? What was it? He knew his guy was injured or something like that. I think Isaac Cruz beats Cambosos. I really do. I think Isaac Cruz beats Cambosos. Again, my theory on Cambosos was that he was like lightning in a bottle. The stars aligned for him when he fought Tio, and listen, I think you'll see that as time progresses. Benavidez late stoppage, Chris G. Benavidez late stoppage. It's a good fight though. Your take on Dubois versus Lorena really opened my eyes. Not going to lie. If somebody's ever boxed in their life, how the fuck could he have not knocked out a one-legged Dubois? Well, I mean, we saw what happened. We all saw what happened. And listen, sometimes you see random things, and yeah, sometimes I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt, but there's certain circumstances where it's just fucking obvious. Police are outside. Hopefully, they're not after me. Tunde's been chatting shit on his podcast. All of this material has been sent to Beterbiev. Therefore, Yard's going to have to bear the brunt, yeah. More of a personal question. What type of stuff are you into, like music, hobbies, art, types of literature, etc.? Obviously, boxing is my main thing in terms of sport. I'm a casual football fan, or soccer, as the Americans like to call it. I don't mind cooking now and again. But these days, primarily, I would say the last sort of, honestly, since the start of the pandemic, I've really been getting into history. I've always been interested in history, but I never really took any time to sit down and chill and actually watch, whether it's documentaries or read up on certain events, alternative theories as well, not just the popular theories of what happened, things of that nature. I'm into history right now quite a bit. Like I'm kind of going down the old Soviet Union rabbit hole. And the interesting thing I find about history is, you get a lot of scholars and all of these people who can recite various historical events and what led up to them and this, that, and the other. Like that's all well and good. That's impressive to like be able to memorize shit like that and know what happened or know or at least what they tell us happened. They can speak about this sort of thing verbatim and whatever. But the interesting thing to me is like you can have like a great knowledge of history, but it's kind of useless if you don't apply it to the real world, to current day, because There's so many people I've seen on social media in the last 2 or 3 years who know their history, they're into their history, and they can't see the same patterns now as to what led up to certain historical events in the past. Does that make sense? They don't apply history, so they'll study history and they'll have that mindset that it's just that history. It can never happen again, or something similar can't happen again. That for me is the most powerful thing about history. It serves as a warning to not go down the same path in the future. Yeah, no heart. I agree, Jiho. He might be. He might be. Alan Babbage is fighting soon, but I forget against who. Or there's been talk of him fighting. Yeah, I don't think he come to win either. In the Canelo fight. Yeah, that's how I felt about that fight at the time, and I still feel that way. I know Tio's not looked great recently, but listen, I think if you get a rematch, he'll beat Tio. He'll beat Tio. Sorry, Tio will beat Kambosos. My bad. Ben versus Marku, that would be good. I heard Kambosos said no to a Stevenson fight. Can't blame him, to be honest. And I don't want to see that fight, quite frankly. I don't really want to see Kambosos in that sort of fight. I don't really want to see Kambosos fight again, to be honest. Don't really want to see him fight again. Not right now, at least. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in Kambosos. Not at all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, one point of history that continually repeats itself is that fat cats can sell weapons to both sides since World War II. Yeah, of course. Of course. And it's interesting, right? With Russia and Ukraine right now, you see that trade that the US made. So they got what's her name? What's that name? Woman's name? Brittany something. Brittany Brittany Griner, I think her name is. So she was basically a basketball player who got arrested in Russia for having a vape pen that had THC in it or something like that, and she was sentenced to like 10 years. And the US traded her for one of the most notorious arms dealers in Russia. All while there's a war going on involving Russia. Russia are involved in an active conflict right now. And let's just release the most notorious arms dealer in Russia. You know? Because again, the USA are getting rid of their stock to Ukraine. And obviously, the military industrial complex are going to have contracts to replace that stock. A lot of people are going to be making a shit ton of money, man. And there's obviously more reasons behind that war than just that, or the reason why the West supports it. There's more than just money. It's not just money, but no worries, Assad. Hopefully you're well, bro. Yeah, they are robots. They only can recall information. And I find the same, though, with boxing historians. Like, a lot of people can tell me how many champions a certain guy beat or this, that, and the other. That's all well and good. But first and foremost, can you explain the context behind those fights, the public perception, where both guys were at in their careers, any controversy that went down, this, that, and the other? Can they explain the context behind those fights? It's when I see historians make like these fucking big ass spreadsheets and this guy beat X world champion, X world champion, X world champion, bloody bloody blah. I mean, what does that even mean? I mean, a lot of these guys will implement systems where they'll rank a guy for beating a world champion, and it means the same as that. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Indeed, yeah, pattern recognition. That's the one. Babic might be fighting Riyad Mary. Yeah, he's based in Belgium. Mary, he's decent. He's all right. Yeah, true that. True that. Maybe it's just because I'm a paranoid fuck. Maybe it's that. Well, there's been some rumblings of like trouble between Kosovo and Serbia. Hopefully, nothing happens. I didn't even watch it. The Quags didn't even watch it. Good fight that is. Rivas versus Ajagba. Good fight. I think both guys can win that fight. Genuinely, that could go either way. I think Rivas early on is going to be very dangerous because that's when he's explosive and he hits hard. Rivas with decent speed. And as we know, Ajagba's really upright. He's quite slow. If he gets caught early on, Rivas could get him out of there early. But if Rivas can't do that, then he fades quick. He fades quick. And against a taller guy like Ajagba, who's got a really long reach, then you could see Ajagba take over. That's a good fight, that is. Ajagba's got all of the attributes that you would want in a heavyweight, but he's just so fucking stiff. I'm moving to Las Vegas soon in a pursuit of being a combat sports journalist or analyst. Any advice? I plan on starting up my YouTube channel come 2023 once more MMA and boxing fights are announced. Honestly, bro, just do it in your own style. Don't try to placate to any specific audience. Just give it raw and try and be as honest as possible. And start it as soon as possible as well. Just start it as soon as possible. Don't wait. Just start it as soon as possible. Of course, yeah. Of course. Of course. But it's the same in regards to like the war on drugs, that whole sham. It's the exact same with that. A lot of people making a lot of money on those drugs coming into America, you know. When you're arresting people for possession, they're entering the judicial system, the prison industrial complex, and you know these prisons are private in America. For every low-level drug user that's incarcerated, that's more money they're going to get paid. You know, and obviously you've got the obvious corruption in Mexico with cartels compromising politicians and police chiefs. A lot of people are fucking eating off that drug war. A lot of people are eating, man. And then even people getting off like fucking even people getting off drugs, like recovering drug addicts, you know, you've got all these therapies and shit and whatnot. So big pharma are taking their slice. It's all a fucking big vicious circle. It's all a big vicious circle. But that's the thing, though. The whole war on drugs has been an abject failure since day one. The USA really have never had a war on drugs. They've always facilitated it. They manage it, basically. Yeah, I honestly, Big Boys Boxing, I really like that fight, though, with Rivas and Ajagba. I think that's a really good fight. You too, Reese, man. Have a great Christmas, bro. God bless you. Could be that, yeah. Could be that, Boxing Brains. Well, it looks like it. I think Rivas crowding Ajagba so he can't throw those big long shots off will win it for Rivas. Yeah, he needs to smother. Yeah, he needs to smother Ajagba. I agree. I agree, but he needs to do that early on because he fades quickly. He fades quickly, Rivas, and he, you know, he's so explosive and he's a muscle-bound guy. So yeah, he fades quickly. I think Shaw takes care of Vianello. I don't rate Vianello at all. At all. Think he's bang average at best. I think that's basically what they're doing, their big boys boxing. If they're going to try and give a bit more shine to Stephen Shaw, who's decent. He's not great or anything, but he's okay. That'll be a good win for him. And maybe next year, Top Rank could set up Jared Anderson versus Stephen Shaw. I wouldn't be shocked to see that fight next year. If you have a second, watch that documentary. If you're into history and stuff, everything's a rich man's trick. Okay, is it on YouTube, Chris G? Is it on YouTube? I'll check it out. I'm leaning towards a Jagba late, but I could easily change my mind, especially due to how vulnerable he is early, like you mentioned. Yeah. And also, one thing about a Jagba, I wasn't impressed with how he was taking punches against Frank Sanchez. Like when he got knocked down, man, it looked like he was just feeling so sorry for himself in that fight. And I think, honestly, I really think that Frank Sanchez could have stopped him that night if he put his foot on the gas. I actually didn't see it, Brandon. I didn't see it. On paper, though, it's a good result. Yeah, I am as well. I'm gutted. I'm gutted that Manuel Charr versus Lucas Brown was called off a day after I made a video on it as well. Rivas is a potted plant. I'll take a Jagba. Anderson versus Shaw. Yeah, that'll be a good fight. That'll be a good fight. I've not really seen too much of Stephen Shaw, but he seems okay. He seems okay. I saw when he stopped Jerry Deweco. Honestly, bro, I've got so little faith in Dubois right now. I think Anderson beats him. I think he should go personally. Yeah, I think he should go personally. Again, from a tactical point of view, I think every single time this guy's in a crunch scenario, he's found wanting. And yeah, he's now had 3 bites of a cherry. We've got one of our most talented squads in a long time, especially in regards to midfield and attack. I think somebody else should have a chance now. I don't think Southgate's good enough. Not only that, Gareth Southgate is he's almost the archetype of a typical British politician, injecting politics into sport. I don't like that personally. I mean, he talks more about social issues than he does tactics. Yeah, Gareth needs to go, in my opinion. Gareth needs to go. He needs to go. If he goes, honestly, I wouldn't mind. I would have said Eddie Howe, but he's with Newcastle and he's not going to leave Newcastle. Again, Graham Potter's another guy who I would have liked, but he's at Chelsea. Not really sure. I wouldn't mind trying something different. Maybe go for Thomas Tuchel. Joe Joyce should retire White. That's a good fight for Joe Joyce, man, because it would generate interest, of course, because White is a big name. And I think Joe Joyce beats the fuck out of him. That'd be a good fight for Joe Joyce. Stay busy, build that profile, and get a win. I'll give it a watch, Chris. I'll give it a watch. Potter would be good. He'll be gone from Chelsea soon anyways, knowing how they roll. Yeah, that's true. Well, if he gets sacked, I think we should hire Graham Potter. I like the way he plays football, Graham Potter. And I don't think Chelsea's necessarily a reflection on him. That new Chelsea owner, man, he needs to fucking fix up real quick, man. They spent all that money with Tuchel and sacked him after like 8 weeks. Madness. Pete won. Griezmann is the best player at the World Cup. Honestly, I haven't really watched any games since England went out. But yeah, from what I've seen of Griezmann, he's been impressive. He has been impressive. Pete won, yeah, he's been good. He's been good. Messi's had a good tournament, though, I can't lie. Lionel Messi's had a good tournament. How many rounds does Walish last against Makhmudov? Yeah, 2 at max. 2 at max. That's a disappointing fight, Big Boys Boxing. Disappointing fight. Surely they could have got someone better than fucking Michael Walish. Like, Takam was a good fight for him in his last fight. I know he didn't look good, but like he got some rounds in, which is ideal. He needs to fight somebody else like that if he can't get anyone decent. A tough, sort of durable guy who can go some rounds. You know, but again, how many of those sort of guys are there in the heavyweight division? Because he's fought Marius Vac, he's fought Carlos Takam. Who else could he fight along those lines if he can't fight like an up and comer? Who else can he fight? I mean, I would say someone like Simon Keane, who's kind of like a fringe contender at best. That would be a good fight for him, maybe in Canada. Oh, can you imagine if Joyce fights Chisora, bro? That'd be a massacre. That'd be a massacre. That'd be cruel. That'd be cruel. Okay, so it's a tune-up, and the next fight's a WBC eliminator. Okay, so who would he fight though in the eliminator? I'm trying to think. But hang on, surely Wilder versus Ruiz. That's a final eliminator, right? So I'm assuming Makhmudov's going to be in a secondary eliminator. I'd like to see that. No, hang on. Didn't the WBC order that? I think they might have ordered it, right? Zhan Kazabutsky versus Arslanbek Makhmudov. That's a good fight, you know. I'm not sure who to pick there. Makhmudov has the size and strength advantage in that fight. But Kazabutsky's a much better, more technical fighter. Southpaw as well. Good body puncher as well for a heavyweight, Kazabutsky. Good counter puncher as well. Ooh, that's a good fight. Wouldn't be shocked to see Kazabutsky win that fight. I'd have to really think about it though. That's a good fight, guys. That's a good fight. Who would I pick in that fight? I'm not really sure. I reckon. I'll be taking Ammo Williams against Cash, who looked insipid, probably because he was bereft of his juice. Yeah, I'd be leaning towards Williams, but Williams himself, man's hot and cold. Plus, mentally, he's not all there, so you can't really count on him. Both guys are inconsistent, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a good fight. Ennis is good. I think Ennis is good. He's talented, he's explosive, he's powerful, but he needs to be tested. And the inactivity's been a curse for him. He fought once this year against Custio Clayton, and he got what? He got 4 minutes of action in that fight. That's all he's done this year, and he's an up-and-comer. Again, that's the thing with PBC, man. They're wasting these sort of guys. Completely wasting them. So hopefully next year he's more active. I know he's fighting in January, which is good. He needs to fight at least 2 more times after that if he can't get a title shot. Yeah, I mean, he got the job done against a guy who wasn't there to fight. I'm glad Paul Butler got knocked out because his performance was so negative. Wasn't there to win, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm glad Inoue won. I'm glad he's become undisputed. I think his talent deserves that. And yeah, we'll see where he goes from here. We'll see where he goes from here. He's one of the best fighters in the world, in my opinion, pound for pound. And we'll see really what he does next. I think it's got to be a featherweight move because there's nothing really for him at bantamweight anymore, or super bantamweight. Or bantamweight, sorry. I'd lean towards Eubank, Heisensberg. It's a good fight in my opinion. Not sure who you mean, Boxing Brains. I might know him if I see him. What's up, Joey? How you doing, bro? Okay, WBC Silver. It's a good fight still, Big Boys Boxing. It's a good fight. Yeah, exactly. They got too many fighters with not enough dates. I'm hoping to see the back of PBC soon. Listen, I've given them a chance, but yeah, they are what they are. They're not doing much for boxing right now. Yeah, basically. Virgil Ortiz, maybe Stanionis could be the first guy to take him the distance. Stanionis does the basics really well. He's got a good, powerful jab. He covers up really well. He does the basics well. He's a decent counter puncher in the exchanges, carries power. I wouldn't be shocked to see Virgil go the distance. Wouldn't be shocked. I'd pick Virgil, but I'm not sure in which way. But I think Stanionis will be a hard fight. Yeah, he's got that aura. Yeah. I think the fight you'll see next is him versus Luis Neri for a vacant WBC title at Super Bantam. That's what I think will happen. Because, yeah, Fulton's moving up by the sounds of it. Fulton's moving up, so he'll vacate the WBC and his other title. And I wouldn't be shocked. To see Inoue versus Neri. Yeah, exactly. He'll have to be more switched on, Big Boys Boxing. He'll have to be more switched on. I think Kozabuski has some sort of agreement with Frank Warren. Frank Warren has a stake in his career. And I've noticed this, by the way. Frank Warren seems to be getting involved in more foreign fighters. So obviously on the undercard of Chisora and Fury, you had Denis Berinchik against Ivan Mendy for a European title. That was a random fight to have on the undercard. But also on the yard card, Artem Delakian against David Jimenez is happening as well. What is that for? The WBA flyweight title? That's happening on the yard card. I'm all for it as well. That's true, yeah. Luis Neri against, was it Yamanaka? Yes. There's a lot of bad feeling about that, yeah. Because he was juiced out of his mind first time around, and second time he missed weight and knocked him out again, yeah. Indeed. But yeah, I'd be all for Inoue knocking out fucking Luis Neri. Neri's not a bad fighter, though. He's not a bad fighter. He's big as well. Big dude. I used to be really high on him back in the day, before he fought Yamanaka. I used to be really high on him. And also next year, man, if Inoue could fight Neri, get a WBC title, and then fight Akhmadaliev, that'd be great. That'd be great. And speaking of Akhmadaliev, when's that guy going to fight again? Again, one fight this year, Akhmadaliev. One fight. When's he going to fight again? He last fought in June against Ronnie Rios. So when's he going to fight again? Again, he's had 11 fights. He's 28, so he's still got time. But he's had 11 fights in just over 4 years. It's not enough. It's not enough. That's the thing, man. We've got so many talented fighters fighting once a year. And that's the thing with these guys from like Uzbekistan and whatnot. They're going to struggle to get a lot of dates in America because there's just not the appetite to see these guys, unfortunately. They don't generate ratings. So if I was one of these guys, man, if I was somebody like Akhmadaliev, I would try and win that title, and as soon as possible, I would just defend it in my home country Just go to Uzbekistan, keep on defending, and if somebody wants to fight you, they have to go there because these guys are just not getting fights over there. It's crazy. It's crazy. But hopefully Akhmed Aliyev's more active next year. Speaking of Akhmed Aliyev, is there any news on this guy? Okay, so he is fighting Marlon Tapales. I think he's from Philippines. He's a decent fighter. That's a mandatory. That's a mandatory. So yeah, it looks like he is fighting soon. It looks like he is fighting soon. But again, he just doesn't fight enough. He just doesn't fight enough. But yeah, I agree though. I'm all for Lewis Neary getting fucking beaten up. I'm all for it. And it's disappointing as well that Fulton has moved up as well, because after he even said, like after Danny Roman, which was his last fight, he wants Akhmed Aliev and Inoue, yet here we are. He moves up. It's crazy. Although one thing I will say, if he fights Brandon Figueroa again, I'll take that. I'll take that because the first fight was really good. And I actually felt Figueroa won that first fight. I can't lie. Rumours have it that Rooney's going to fight on the Misfits cards. Fucking hell. Oh my God. Wayne Rooney. Jesus Christ. The world's going crazy, man. The world's going crazy. Do you reckon Rooney can fight? I read somewhere that Rooney used to train boxing when he was young. When he was like really young. Maybe I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. But I'm not really interested, man. I'm not really interested, to tell you the truth. Why is my things fucking freezing? Fuck's sake. Yeah, he boxed as an amateur. Okay. I'm not really bothered, Kevin, to be honest with you. I'm not really bothered all that much. I'm not even sure whether I'll watch it or not, whether I'll have time. I'm not even sure whether I'm going to watch it. I've got a feeling France will win it. Rooney got KO'd by Phil Bardsley. I think I've seen that clip. Yeah. That's hilarious. Phil Bardsley looks like a hard bastard, though. Rooney should stick to shagging OAP brasses. I picked Brazil, then I picked France. After I saw France's first game, I kind of went to France. But yeah, Argentina, man, have a great chance. If Argentina win that, listen, Messi's the GOAT. I think, listen, you don't need a World Cup to be the GOAT, in my opinion, because that just excludes so many players from ever being in that conversation. Because if they may play for a smaller nation who are never going to win a World Cup. Like this old head thing, like it's mainly from older football fans. Oh, if you haven't won the World Cup, then you can't be considered the greatest of all time. Well, club football is a higher level of football for a start. That's the truth. These guys play together all the time, not just in tournaments or two-week training camps. Club football is the ultimate level of football, and the Champions League is the highest level of football. And Messi's done that year in, year out for 15 years. And so, listen, I'm pissed with Ronaldo, but even Ronaldo, listen, I mean, Ronaldo, listen, These guys are better than the likes of Pele, man. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. And Maradona and shit like that. Well, it looks like you might win, Joey. You might win. You're in with a good chance. An Argentina-England final would have been epic, man. It would have been epic. Yeah, in terms of quality, there's no way you can argue it. There's no way you can argue that club football isn't better than international football. These guys train together all the time. Whereas with international football, every international break, there's different players involved. There's, different squads. There's never one cohesive squad. And the tournaments are every, 2 years? Yeah, listen, man. Messi's better than Maradona and Pele. He's just better. Now, technically, I think those guys were better than Ronaldo, like from a technical standpoint. But even look at Ronaldo's numbers, though. I know stats don't mean everything, but his numbers are crazy, like a prime Ronaldo. Because technical ability matters, but also athletic ability in football is much more prevalent now than it was. Yeah, Julian Alvarez. He's at Man City. Yeah, he looks decent as well, Alvarez. Man City have got a good player there. Ralph Rangnick wanted to sign him in January, but the board said no. Like Ralph Rangnick said about, the Croatian defender, Josko. He wanted Josko, I think it was Nkunku and Julian Alvarez. And the board said no to all of the options. And look now. That's how dumb the Man United board are. I agree, Mo. I agree. I agree. And let's not act like Callum Johnson wasn't a huge puncher. Yeah, he wasn't the most skilled, but his power was real. And look at what happened when he got up. Look at what happened then. Yeah, that was a bargain. Bargain. Good player. Good player. I'll be honest now, I'm actually looking forward to club football coming back. Looking forward to club football coming back. Kind of miss it now. I'm kind of sick of a World Cup. No, it doesn't surprise me if that is true. Though it comes from Eddie Hearn, so who knows what the truth is. But I doubt that fight did well. I doubt that fight did well on pay-per-view. Coming up to Christmas, cost of living crisis, that fight didn't do well in my opinion. Yeah, apparently his great-grandfather was Scottish or something, Reese. That's why he's got that name, McAllister. Apparently his great-grandfather was Scottish. That's what I read, or something like that. Either his great-grandfather or grandfather. But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy as well because he plays for Brighton. He plays for Brighton, man. He's a good player though, McAllister. He's a good player. He's had a good start to the season as well for Brighton. Scored a few goals. That's the thing, though. When you look at the Argentina team, apart from Messi, there's no real world beaters there. When you really look at it, Di Maria's old. Lisandro Martinez is still kind of unproven. They're not exactly a team of world beaters, but they have a team. They've got a good team core, team ethic. Yeah, I don't think it did well. I'm not a fan of boxing. Can we talk about Fortnite? Yeah, I assumed he was probably Scottish with him playing for Brighton and that name laugh out loud. Yeah, they got him from Argentina. He came from Argentina. They bought him when he was young and unknown. I'll tell you what, though, Brighton have a great scouting network. They really do. They really do. Look at the players they found, like Cucurella, McAllister, Caicedo, Lamptey. They've got a great scouting network, Brighton. They really do. They also signed that Japanese dude who looks quite good as well. Warren and Fury said that it was sold out, but they had 50,000 fans there. AJ Usyk 1 had over 65,000 fans in that same stadium. I heard they was giving away free tickets. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Again, who the fuck in their right mind would want to go to see Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora 3 in the middle of winter in an outdoor arena? Fucking hell. Football's for children and retards. I know, right? Yeah, they're playing well. They're playing. They're getting results. They're getting results, which is always the main thing. We'll see how they do in the final, though. We'll see. I probably won't watch it, but we'll see. I'm probably on the spectrum, to be honest. Listen, there's probably something wrong with all of us here. But yeah, the World Cup's been weird. It still doesn't seem right it being in winter. To me, doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right. But it's been all right. It's been all right. It's been all right. Shit, wrong fucking tab. Dana White said that football is the least skilled sport. What do you think? I don't know how you can really measure that, to be honest. I don't know how you can measure that. I mean, I don't know about that, to be honest. I don't know how you can measure it. What I will say though, same goes for boxing and MMA. You'll never get a bum like Paddy Pimblett, like make it in football, like just based off like everything else apart from his actual ability. That wouldn't happen in most sports. No, I didn't see it, but I can imagine it, Reese. Do you think you're harsh on John Ryder? Ryder's coming off big fights with Callum, Jacobs, and Parker. He's the WBA interim champion, and it's an action style clash. Canelo should win, but not the worst fight. I can just see it now, bro. I can just see it now. Ryder's going to have very little success. He'll tuck up. He'll throw the odd speculative jab here and there, and eventually he'll feel a body shot and take a knee. It's not a competitive fight. I don't think Ryder will turn up to win. I think that fight's boring. I just not interested. I'm really not interested in it. Look at how John Ryder talks about that fight. He talks about the payday rather than the opportunity to become undisputed or to beat Canelo. I don't like that. I think he's just there to get a payday. I don't think he's there to win. And I like John Ryder, but I think he's there to secure the bag, so to speak. And after that fight, he'll retire and call it a day. So yeah, not interested. Not interested. There's better fights out there for Canelo. More interesting fights. Benavidez being one, in my opinion. And people will say, well, Ryder's got a better resume. Yeah, that may be true, but I know what fight's going to be more entertaining. I don't need to see a resume. I know Benavidez will be far more entertaining. Exactly. Never played Fortnite. Never played it. Did you expect more from Paul Butler as a two-time champion, top three guy within 118? Yeah, I did. I mean, yeah, he like you said, he shit the bed. He shit the bed, and we all expected him to lose, but like, listen, still go in there and try to ruffle some feathers, man. I get being cautious early on, trying to draw the sting out of Inoue, try and take him later. That makes sense because Inoue was starting to struggle at the weight, according to reports. That makes sense. But in the second half, he needed to try to up the pace, try to throw some shots back, try to actually inflict some damage on Inoue, but he never did, man. He never rolled the dice. To me, his goal in that fight was to make the distance. It was never to win. And in an undisputed fight, that should not be commendable. That's not commendable. I don't care how much of an underdog he was. That's not a good look, in my opinion. I like Morrell. I think David Morrell is decent. I think David Morrell's a good fighter. I do. I think he's a good fighter. Hopefully he stays more active next year. He's fun to watch, David Morrell. Who wins, Marku or Congo? I think that's more or less a 50-50. I think Congo can hurt Marku. We've seen Marku get hurt before. We've seen him get dropped before, and I think Congo can hit a bit. But at the same time, I don't. Congo's a little bit too. I don't know. I'd have to think about that fight. I'd have to think about it. It's a good fight though. It's a competitive fight. Yeah, I think Plant will get knocked out late against Benavidez. I think he'll start well when he's fresh, when he's boxing early on, but his gas tank in a 12-round in a hard 12-round fight, I don't think is good enough. And I think against a guy like Benavidez who can maintain that output and power as the rounds progress, I think Plant will really struggle as that fight goes on. I do. I really think he'll struggle later on in that fight. He'll start well. I'd say he'd be probably up after like maybe 4 rounds on the cards, but he'll start to slow down, and Benavidez is going to get closer, put some hurting on him, and eventually I think he'll succumb to the pressure of Benavidez. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Honestly, bro, I don't really have a set list of pound for pound. But Inoue is one of the best fighters in the world. If I were to make a pound for pound list, he'd be easily up there. He'd easily be up there, very high, very high. I mean, if somebody said he's got Inoue as pound for pound number one, I wouldn't call that person crazy. I wouldn't call that person crazy. I think that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. If I were to say right now, though, who's number one, I'd probably say Usyk still, because in his last 2 fights, obviously he's beaten Joshua, who has a massive size advantage, like 25 pounds plus height and reach. That's pound for pound when you're beating a much bigger guy, based on your skills. That's pound for pound when your skill level's so good that you can beat much bigger guys. And Usyk proved that against Joshua. So that's pound for pound for me. So I'd say Usyk right now is pound for pound number one. Usually I wouldn't put heavyweights in my pound for pound list, but he never started at heavyweight. So, but yeah, usually I wouldn't consider heavyweights as pound for pound. But a guy like Usyk or back in the day, Holyfield, those guys are pound for pound. In my opinion. Yeah, I'm the same, Superman. He rubs me up the wrong way. I'm not sure what it is about Caleb Plant, but he just irritates me. He irks me. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he irks me. Yeah, I mean, so Keith Thurman is what, the WBC Mando? I mean, listen, it could be an okay fight, but Thurman's been so inactive. I hope it's a joke, bro. Hopefully it doesn't get in the way. But Frank Warren has Fury and obviously and Dubois. So if I'm Frank Warren, I might try and push that fight. Let Dubois have his first shot. He knows he's going to lose, cash him out, and then have Usyk versus Fury. If I was Warren, I'd probably do that. Don't be surprised if that fight happens next. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. I think Fury knows that's a dangerous fight. I do. I think he knows Usyk is dangerous and tricky, awkward. I think he knows he's in for a tough night's work against Usyk. Tyson Fury, for all we say about him, and I have many complaints in regards to Tyson Fury, and I dislike him. But he knows boxing. He knows boxing. He does know boxing. He ain't stupid. He ain't stupid. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I would be surprised if Fury fought Joyce, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Warren try to make Dubois versus Usyk. Wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, apparently Fulton's moving up, Superman. Apparently Fulton's going to super featherweight. So yeah, Inoue could fight for a vacant title there. Like if Fulton goes up, he could fight for a vacant WBO. Or even a WBC because Fulton has that title as well. I was saying earlier, I wouldn't be shocked to see Inoue versus Neri for a vacant WBC. I could see that fight happening. Warren said it isn't happening first, and they'll allow a unification over it. Okay. Well, hopefully Frank Warren's telling the truth. Hopefully Frankie Boy's telling the truth. Yeah, he lost the first fight. Albanian boxer. He lost the first fight. I've not seen it for a long time though. I can't. Probably best part of 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm the same, XMB. I'm the same. But I'd like to see Inoue try to get two belt undisputed. That'd be great. That'd be great. But Neri would be a decent fight. You've got Akhmadaliev. There's some good fights for him at Super Bantam. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Avanesian's team kind of filed a complaint. Yeah, I saw that. Whether it goes anywhere, I doubt it. But yeah, they filed, and so yeah, Avanesian's team files an official complaint with the Nebraska Athletic Commission over Terence Crawford's defective boxing gloves. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You know, he's getting hit with Mandos left, right, and center. Hergovich, Usyk. Yeah, I would say those belts are going to be kept together. Like if Fury versus Usyk happens next, I think all the belts will be on the line. And regardless of who wins that fight, I think then they'll become fragmented. See, that's the thing though with sanctioning bodies. When you get an undisputed champion, they all order shit together, and you know it's impossible to defend all the belts. A lot of time in many occasions, I think they need to. But again, though, like you know, the sanctioning bodies should really work together to not allow that to happen. When you've got an undisputed champion, you know, ideally you want to keep him around or let him try to keep on defending undisputed. But the sanctioning bodies don't work together. But also, these guys don't fight regularly enough anyway to keep defending their titles. Yeah, he looked terrible against Kamil Sakalovsky, Fraser Clark. He looked awful, in my opinion. He's fighting Kevin Johnson next, which is fucking hell. Kevin Johnson's still going. Kevin Johnson is still going. And again, you never know. I mean, Kevin Johnson can make you look bad. He can make you look bad. I mean, he made Dubois look bad not so long ago. Wasn't that long ago. Not many people get rid of Kevin Johnson even now. Joshua got rid of him. Not many others did. I think maybe two more guys did. Let's have a look at Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson. Kevin Kingpin Johnson. Or Kevin Safety Pin Johnson. Kevin Johnson's been stopped 3 times. 3 times. So he's got stopped by Peter Milas, Anthony Joshua, and who else? So Peter Milas, Anthony Joshua, and Martin Bacole. So there you go. There you go. He actually fought Ajit Kabayel back in 2021, and I remember seeing the highlights to that fight. He actually buzzed Kabayel, believe it or not. He recently went the distance with Ali Erendemarizen, with Ajit Kabayel, with Victor Vickhurst. So there you go. Yeah, Kevin Johnson's still about. Hard to say XMB 45. I wouldn't want to say yet. I'd lean towards Jalalov. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see, Superman. We'll see. But even if that is the case, bro, even if that is the case, let's say that's true and listen, Crawford's team or they had nothing to do with it, right? But there was no tampering or anything. Let's say that is true, which it could be. Then that still doesn't absolve the Nebraska State Athletic Commission for allowing that fight to continue. Because when you have gloves like that, when something like that happens, you have to change them. You know, these guys have a spare pair of gloves. No, I haven't, Reese. I haven't seen them. I don't really think Clark will do much, to be honest. He's a big lump. He's strong, but I don't know. Don't know. Again, he's like Joe Joyce when he turned pro. He turned pro quite old, Fraser Clark, so he really needs to kind of step up soon. But he showed in that fight with Sakalowski that he's not ready. He's just not ready. So yeah, to get Fraser Clark anywhere, I think you're gonna need careful matchmaking. But maybe that was just an off night. I know he was very heavy that night. So we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. I'd lean towards Vitaly Klitschko late. Yeah, he could win a British. He could win a British. Mate, listen, it's hard to say with heavyweights though. It's hard to say, isn't it? We'll see what he does. Well, first and foremost, like the matchmaking so far, apart from Sakalowski, has been dreadful. He's fought guys where he's knocked them over and he's learnt nothing. At least he would have learned something from the Sakalowski fight. He needs to fight more of those sort of guys, those tough journeymen, take him rounds, show him some different looks. And maybe Kevin Johnson can still do that. You know, he's still going the distance with somewhat reputable guys. So maybe that's a decent fight for him right now, believe it or not. Maybe that's a decent fight for him right now. No, I had Tio winning XMB. I had Tio winning. For me, Sandor Martin didn't really do enough, man. He was outlanded in most rounds. He was outlanded in most rounds from my estimation, and Tio was landing the harder punches. To me, he was far too passive in that fight. Far too passive. Who the fuck is Daily Prolaus? Who the fuck is that? I don't know who the fuck that is, bro. What's up? So yeah, hang on. Yeah, it's a bad look. That's what I'm saying. It's a bad look. When's your birthday? 7th of May 95? Or do you believe in astrology? And London or English countryside? I'd rather live in the English countryside than London. My birthday's not the 7th of May 95. You're close, but not quite. And I don't believe in astrology, no. Yeah, with Tio, Tio looks good when he's got a guy who's actually advancing on him, like a Kome, for example, or a Magdaleno, those sort of guys. Then he can open up and counter you with his hard, fast punches. But when he's got to chase a fight and and like create his own openings, that's where his limitations show. And we saw that against Sandor Martin. But having said that, though, Sandor Martin in a lot of rounds wasn't engaging at all. He was so negative. Like, it's hard to look good against those guys. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Masvidal was overrated. He had that good run, but yeah, overrated, no doubt. Wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked. Superman wouldn't be shocked. Regardless of when Conor Benn comes back, I think they should just leave that Eubank fight alone. Just keep Conor Benn at welterweight. Yeah, we were saying that earlier, bro, in regards to a Jagba Rivas. Could be a good fight. I think that's going to be a good fight. I'm not even sure who to pick. I think Rivas could get it done early because of how like fucking stiff and upright a Jagba is. But the thing is with Rivas, he blows his load early. Like his stamina drains quickly. So if he can't get rid of a Jagba early on, don't be surprised to see a Jagba pile up the points with that jab and maybe outpoint or even stop Rivas late. But Rivas showed a pretty good chin against Dillian White. Not going to give away too much, Retro Gamer, my G. Not going to give away too much. Tio would struggle against Catterall because of Catterall's negative style. Would he lose though? Probably not, in my opinion. I think he'd beat Catterall. But I think he would struggle. I think he would look bad until he either knocked him out or won on points. Yeah, there's that fight as well, XMB. Don't be shocked to see Brook come back. Wouldn't be shocked. If they throw enough money at him, I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back. And in fact, I saw in a recent interview that Brook said that he misses boxing. He said that it's been tough, like not boxing anymore. And he actually looked in decent shape for Kell Brook. You know, when Kell Brook's out of camp, when he's not fighting, he always looked terrible. Brook actually looked in good shape, so maybe Brook's training to come back. I don't think we've seen the last of Kell Brook. I think he'll have one more fight in a big cash-out fight. I've suspected that for a long time. Yo, what's up, Mad Chad? How you doing, bro? I got Rivas stopping a Jagba. Could happen. Wouldn't be shocked. Thank you, Tom, man. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Very interesting. To like kind of look at that side of the world, you know. And I got myself down a real rabbit hole this week. Like, can't really explain it, but put it this way: if I make the follow-up video, which I'm going to do, providing I get the information, man, it's one of those things, man. There's going to be people out there coming for me. I'm not even lying. I'm not even joking. Not cartel stuff. Something completely different. But yeah, some bad people, bro. Bad people. People literally, how do I say? Like literally an online cult who are still operating. who basically encouraged a murder. So yeah, got to be careful. But if I find the information, man, I got to put it out there. We'll see. Who wins, Prime Nassim or Floyd Mayweather? Oh, Floyd. Floyd wins. Yeah, I thought the same thing, Pete. I thought the same thing. He actually usually when a fighter says that, I just think they're saying it for like lip service, but I felt he was being genuine there, Pete. He kind of looked a bit down and downtrodden, you know. I think he misses boxing. I do. I think he misses it. Okay, no, sorry. Okay, respect. I watched a stream ages ago and had your day, but I can't remember it now. It's okay. I remember from the chat you love secrecy and secrets of the world, and that you have clashes with male friends. Oh, I have clashes with everybody, bro. I have clashes with everybody. Not like nothing major, but like I always kind of get in heated debates or heated discussions, even with friends. I wouldn't want friends to where I couldn't talk about random shit with like different things, you know, talking about the world, the universe, everything in it, how it works. And we often don't agree, but like I would hate to have friends to where I can't talk about that sort of thing with. I agree, Superman. I think that's how it's going to play out. And don't you hate it when a girl flirts with you, leads you on, and when you make a move, she tells you that she's got a boyfriend? Yep, it's happened to me. It's happened to the best of us, man. It's happened to the best of us. I would tend to agree. Like Marquez in particular, like counterpuncher, I think that'd be a hard matchup for Prince Nazim. Because of Nazim's balance and how he would jump in, I could see Marquez dropping him a couple of times. I don't think Marquez stops him, though. There'll be good fights, though. There'll be good fights. Like Prince Nazim would be competitive against, like, he'd be competitive, in my opinion, against Marquez. I think Morales, it depends what Morales turns up. Because Morales had really good boxing ability, but, you know, that machismo sometimes kicked in and he would fight rather than box. And if he was in that mood, like that could be, like Nazim would have success. But yeah, I'd pick all those guys to beat Prince Nazim. I would watch it, but I think Estrada gets knocked out. Imagine Khan versus Marquez. I think Khan would probably be winning that fight until he gets knocked out. I think he'd have success with the speed and straight punches early on. Khan will eventually get too greedy and get knocked out. I vaguely remember it, Joey, that blue whale thing, yeah. But yeah, some crazy people online, man. There's some crazy people online. Shit, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? I've got like a million fucking tabs open here, you know. I've got like 1,000,001 tabs open. Khan versus Prince Nazim. I think Khan would have been too big, to be honest. Maybe. Listen, Barrera. Let's say they did it at lightweight, like against a young Khan. Then yeah, I think Nassim would have had a chance if they did it at lightweight. But Anything above that, no. Like, Khan would just be way too big. No, I didn't hear it, but I'm not surprised. No, I've never been on the deep web. No, I've never been on it. Too risky for my liking. Don't want to get some bullshit viruses. And also, apparently, like a lot of what you hear about the deep web is like exaggerated. Like most of it's just pure junk. But there's some shit that goes down, no doubt. But like, maybe not to the extent in which a lot of people say. Like, the people were talking about things like red rooms, where people would live stream people getting tortured, and the viewers would pay for certain things to happen. That's bullshit. You can't run a live stream on the deep web. That's all nonsense. That is. That's all nonsense. Could that thing happen IRL though? Maybe. I wouldn't be shocked if it did. You know, like Hostel, like rich and powerful elites, like doing that sort of shit. I'd assume that's happened, or something similar. I'd assume that's happened. I would. I'd probably hazard a guess and say I'd say it has happened. Like maybe some real deep underground, like snuff ring or something like that. I'd be hard pressed to believe that hasn't happened. I mean, before Jeffrey Epstein, who would have thought there'd be an island of like some fucking predator who would take kids out there and share them with the elites? If you said that a few years ago, you'd have been called crazy and a fucking conspiracy theorist. But, you know, here we are. Guy's a weirdo, in my opinion, Albanian boxer. I think he's a tryhard. I think he's one of those guys who isn't being true. I see right through it. Again, he's just trying to placate to a certain audience. He's trying to go for that right-wing demographic. But, you know, listen to what the guy's done, bro. Didn't that guy see his girl get, like, piped by somebody else? Sneeko, no bueno. No bueno. No bueno. But fair enough, he's getting the bag. He's getting the bag, I guess. But, like, I don't think he's sincere. To be honest, I think he's playing a role or playing a character. That's how I see it, anyway. That's how I see it. But, you know, he's got the gift of the gab, as they say, you know? He's got the gift of a gab. The manosphere, yeah, imagine, Joey. Listen, I'm all for people improving themselves and whatnot, but that's just like pure groupthink nonsense. The manosphere. I mean, let's talk about the title alone. It sounds like a fucking gay club. The manosphere. Sounds like a gay club. It's basically feminism for men. Menimism, I guess you'd call it. That's all it is. Again, I hear all of these guys, they're like talking about traditional Christian values and, you know, conservatism. Yet, if you look at how they view the world and how you should approach relationships, they'll moan about the nuclear family getting destroyed. But, you know, look at the lives these guys live. Or they most of them don't. Most of them are fronting, by the way. But, you know, multiple partners, kids with one partner maybe, and all that shit, or kids with like even kids with multiple partners. That's destroying the nuclear family. That's all of these guys are doing. They're contributing to the destruction of things like the nuclear family in a different way to the left, you know. That's all it is. The manosphere. Can you imagine? It sounds so cringy. Like, imagine, like, unironically watching that sort of content. Like, most of these people as well, right? I go down rabbit holes, right? I go down rabbit holes. I like looking at different internet communities, just from afar, kind of thing. And like, there are people out there who like preach to be like some gurus with women, and you look at these people, and they come across like they're on the like a lot of these guys I think are on the spectrum for a start. That's so awkward. Um, Weird people, man. Weird fucking people. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who that guy is. Albanian boxer. Don't know who he is. I know the Sneakbo guy or Sneeko guy you said, but I don't know who Hamza is. But yeah, the whole manosphere thing is fucking dumb. Just do it yourself, man. Get out there and learn from your failures, learn from your mistakes, and ultimately listen. But to be honest, though, one there's a group like the manosphere. To me, I just look at them like they are what they are, man. The worst group are what you call the black pill people. I was on my other channel. People say sorry. I sound like wheat waffles, and I was like, who the fuck's this guy? Who the fuck's this guy? People keep on saying I sound like wheat waffles, so I fucking YouTube him, and he's some black pill content creator. Basically, it's like some defeatist ass content when it comes to dating. If you're not this, then there's no hope. You're done. There's no hope. It's like what putting that message out there, man. It's going to affect so many guys. And again, there's nothing like I hate like so many quote unquote conservatives and Christians in particular. They'll call themselves conservative and Christian, but they're black pill. You've basically given up. Black pill to me is death. Black pill is no hope. That's giving up. What's masculine about that? It's incredibly nihilistic. The black pill movement, incredibly nihilistic. Yeah, I used to watch Sneeko years ago. Was definitely not a conservative, nor was I. So maybe he's changed. Maybe he's playing a role. Either way, they are pretty narcissistic. I think. Yeah, I agree. And again, I think those sort of people are just the symptom of today's society. They're not the problem, but they're just a symptom of like a lack of role models for young men. I mean, you look at some people who young men look up to, and it's insane. It's insane. Listen, man, you're going to get found out. Like a lot of these guys will watch that content. They'll try and repeat what these guys say verbatim. But in the real world, man, you're going to get found out. You're going to get found out one way or another, and you got to learn from your own mistakes. Find your own way, and you'll get there ultimately. And a lot of these guys, man, who follow those sort of online circles, they completely outsource their critical thinking. And it's sad. It's just sad. I see so many people like quote Andrew Tate verbatim, like even unironically. It's like bro. Jordan Peterson's another one. I find him particularly insidious. Something about that guy, just his demeanor, his energy. I find that guy very insidious. And again, you hear it because he was advocating for a lack of. Basically, he was shilling for big tech to be able to take your ID or credit card details to verify you because of anonymous people trolling him like that. He always talks about tyranny this, tyranny that. You know, he's opening the door for tyranny with things like that. Imagine like shilling for big tech to have all of your details to prove you're a real person. That's what he was asking for. Plus, he pushed for vaccine shit as well. Like he always talks about the Soviet Union and things of this nature. Quotes Nietzsche. Sounds great, but like again, look at what he's pushed in the last 2 or 3 years. That's not to say I can't extrapolate certain things he said and make use of them, because yes, he has given good advice, and I can still use that. But I mean, as a person, I wouldn't trust Jordan Peterson as far as I could throw him. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Plus, his brain's been fried on benzos as well, which isn't good. Maybe it's just that, I don't know, but because he seems crazy now. He seems just unhinged, emotionally incontinent since he come back from the old benzo fiasco. Yeah, mixes some truth with disinformation. Yeah, and you need to be able to pick it out. Like again, I can look at Jordan Peterson and I can agree with certain things he says or bits of advice that I would say are helpful, and I can extrapolate that and use it. But like on the other hand, I can see this guy for what he is. I think he's a shill. It's either he's a shill or like I said, the benzos have just completely fried his brain. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. I'll big up G Man. Salute KB. Yeah, basically, yeah, the whole manosphere movement, yeah, they're basically male versions of feminists, menonists. That's all they are. Because, like, even the sexes now are divided, man. It's crazy, and all these guys are doing is really pushing that. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. He's in the closet, Reese. He's in the closet. In the closet. Guy's a weirdo. That guy again. I don't look at just what somebody says or what they believe in. I also look at them as a person, and I can usually tell. I know it sounds weird, but like I can just tell by looking at somebody, and that guy's a creep. That guy is a creep. Little cretin, that guy. Little cretin. Yeah, again, like the takes are another one. Like, yes, you can look at what they say, and certain things they say obviously make sense, and I would agree with in terms of things like personal responsibility, in regards to how the world works, as like things in regards to COVID and whatever. I agree with all of that, but again, I mean, there's certain red flags surrounding both Andrew Tate and Tristan. There are red flags there. I mean, Dad's a CIA. Dad worked for the CIA for a start. You see all of these Masonic hand symbols they're throwing up in every video, and God knows what else. I don't know, man. Yeah, Peterson is the con man you saw on Saturday morning cartoons. He mixes words, quotes, and topics in such a way that mimics intelligence, when in reality he's spewing repetitive garbage. And listen, I'm not doubting his intelligence. I'm not doubting his intelligence. He's obviously smart, but I don't know. There's always been something about that guy. Like he almost seems like two different people for when he first came on the scene to now. And again, that's one of two things. It's either he got compromised, or the benzos rotted his brain, which is still being compromised, I guess, in a different way. But you know what I'm trying to say. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah. The mainstream media, they're still talking about this guy, and yeah, yeah. The Tates and Pauls are two sides of the same coin. Indeed. Indeed. Indeed, they are. But again, just don't look at these guys as like prophets. Again, you can extrapolate any useful information from these types of people. They do say things that are of value. There's no doubt about that. But again, as the West has lost religion, you see individuals. They will almost look at mere men as deities almost. You see it. You see it because, like, if you criticize Andrew Tate among certain circles, you're going to get roasted. You're going to get roasted. It's like blasphemy. And again, that's the loss of religion in the West. Something has to fill the void. Something has to fill the void. It's like what wokeism is. Wokeism is almost a religion to some people. And if you like the branch Covidians, another example. Trust the science. Trust the science. Anything else is sacrilege. You should be ostracized and banned off Twitter, banned off social media. Has to punish. You have to repent. Religion never went anywhere. Christianity went in the West, but the idea of worship, that never went away. That never went away. And here we are now. And here we are now. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. I don't think he will. I don't know really, Albanian boxer. It's too early to see. It's too early to say. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what they say, but they seem to be in the fraternity, push a false dream of being a multi-millionaire and smashing supermodels too, which is a trap in my opinion. Yeah. In the West, yeah, a lot of young Muslim lads are, yeah. Because like young Muslim lads who they now like on the weekends they'll have a few sneaky drinks, things of that nature. They'll gamble, and yeah, I mean the brainwashing gets to everybody. I think it's getting to everybody here in the West. Um, yeah, work hard, keep fit, and yeah, try to look for a good wife and have a family with. Yeah, yes, the human desire of worship, eye evidence of God's existence. That's a very good point. That's a very good point, Gerson. It's a very good point. Like I believe in God, but I don't follow any organized religion, but I believe in God. Yeah, I've never even heard of this guy. He's fighting Levi. Never heard of him. And his name's Karen, so that can't be a good thing, right? His name's Karen. But yeah, I'm all for I don't believe in organized religion, but I'm all for it at the same time. I'm all for it. I just believe I know I've got a personal relationship with God. I know some of you are going to think I'm crazy, but I know that to be true. I think he stops him, Levi. I think he stops him. I think Garcia might have a few bit of success early on, but I think Tank will be too powerful. But Gerson, I liked that point. I liked that point. That's a really good point. And it's always crazy, right? Like way back when we was just mere tribes, when we never knew each other existed, there were certain parallels that we all went through, that we all did. Even way back when, like the worship of deities, like across various different cultures, always worshipping some sort of higher power. Now, why is that? We never met each other. We never knew each other existed. But way back when we was in caves and all this shit, there was all these different forms of worship, the different forms of gods. Why is that? Speaking facts, man, too many people let things influence them without thinking first. Yeah, and I think we're all susceptible, right? We are all susceptible, but I try and catch myself. I try and catch myself. Bubo Andrade is in another weird fight. Yeah, he's fighting Demons Nicholson. Yep, that's he fought Balanga. Yeah, not a great fight. As a Muslim, most of my cousins and friends don't care about Asian culture or religious disciplines. They much prefer chasing money, girls, and the bling lifestyle, especially the newer generation. I think that's always the way, though. Coming like if you're foreign coming to the West, like the first generation are going to keep their culture, and after that, the brainwashing, the media, etc., it's going to infiltrate. It's going to infiltrate. And this is my theory that the West, they want almost, I would say they want, their goal is a monoculture where there's really no such thing as religion anymore. Everybody kind of thinks the same. Nobody really has any specific personal beliefs or religious beliefs. They want everybody in the same box, in my opinion. And those obviously those people are far easier to control when everybody thinks the same. And the West have gone after Christianity, and they've been successful. They've completely destroyed Christianity. And I've said this for a couple of years now. I think they will start targeting Islam. You've seen that with the World Cup in Qatar. You've seen the media coverage of that. It's going to be small. It's going to be subtle. But eventually, they're going to start ramping up the pressure on Islam, because if they want this global monoculture, religion can't exist. Whether you're Christian or Muslim, whatever, it can't exist. So they're going to come after Islam. And what I would say to you, my bro, is keep your faith strong. Just keep your faith strong and don't let them take it. And same goes for any Christians here. I know Reese is Christian. I know Gerson's Christian. Just don't let them take it from you. I just believe in God. I know I've got a relationship with God. So I know I'm going to be good. I mean, Hector's okay, but like Tank's going to be so much bigger, Albanian boxer. Like Hector basically had 2 fights at 130, 2 or 3 fights at 130. Now he's going up again to 135. So I think he's going to be overpowered. Yeah, I agree, Levi Khan. All we really want, an investigation needs to transpire. Indeed. I totally agree. That's the world we live in now. That's the world we live in. Ultimately, all we can do is look out for ourselves, our family, and our friends, and try to be as good a role model as we possibly can be. Try to spread positivity to those we love, help them out, care for them, and try and get on with it. That's all we can really do. Like I think about the world probably a bit too much, when in reality I can't really change much. All I can really change is or impact is what's around me and myself. Again, I agree, Levi. That was a bizarre fight. Bizarre from Kevin Lorena. Drops fucking Dubois 3 times and does nothing after that. Just forgets how to throw punches. I think that was a fix. The Bible talks about how there will be one world, basically be one new world order. A new world order where there will be one global religion. Yeah. It feels that way. Like when you talk to people, like even when you talk to people these days, just like random people, sometimes it just feels like you're talking to an empty vessel. Like there's nothing in there. Like you couldn't have any deep, meaningful conversations with them. Maybe that's because they're too scared to say anything that could be deemed controversial. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't know. Yeah, exactly. That's where it starts. That's really all you can affect is yourself and those around you. That's all you can really do. And that's another thing, though, like the lack of community now in across the West. Like where I live, I know one of my neighbors he's actually sound. He's a nice guy, but I don't know anybody else around here. I don't know anybody else. Like back in the day, man, like all these communities were tight knit. They would help each other out. They would give each other food and whatnot. Not the way anymore. You say if you walk down the street, yeah, you walk past. Let's say you walk past somebody and you say, "Oh, hello, good morning," whatever. They'll look at you like you're a weirdo. Honestly, they'll look at you like you're a weirdo just for being polite, just for saying, "Oh, hi, what's up?" or "Good morning," whatever. It's weird. So it's bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't know. I feel we are living in historical times right now, historically significant times, and I've got no idea how it's going to pan out. I've got no idea how it's going to pan out. It's crazy, man. Like I never had this worldview when I was in my mid teens or late teens, and I never really saw it then. Maybe it's because I had very little responsibility and things of that nature. But yeah, now it's just like the complete opposite. I do worry about the future. Like if I have kids, what sort of world will I be bringing them into? Um, I do think about that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm like, why are some of these girls wearing headscarves if they're wearing push-up bras and skin-tight yoga pants? Yeah, yeah, I won't accept it. Good to hear. I'll admit I'm a sinner who's made some bad choices in the past, so I cast no stones to anyone. But degeneracy should not be encouraged in society, so we need to repent. Indeed. Yep, communities are dead. Everybody is selfish and are so cold. I agree. Yeah, people are tired of the nonsense and the degeneracy and the lack of community. At least I've been seeing it. And when people are accustomed to it again, they're better than before. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's. I mean, the church has gone through this, Superman. Again, I'm telling you, that's they will try to muddy the waters as well when it comes to Islam. They're going to target Islam, and I. It made me wonder whether this World Cup was all about that. Whether that's the reason Qatar was allowed to host it, because that's been the narrative throughout, right? About Qatar, that's been the narrative throughout. That's all it's been. And I wonder whether letting Qatar have the World Cup was a part of that. Just a route to demonize a religion kind of thing and put it out there like that. Frank Martin. Frank Martin. I think it's a good fight though. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Rydell Booker iced Norman Neely in the first round. Jesus Christ. Rydell Booker. He fought James Toney like 15 years ago, by the way, Rydell Booker. So he did, yeah. He knocked out Norman Neely in one round, who was 13-0. 13-0. Good win. Good win. I mean, he's still going for distance. He went for distance with Otto Wallin, Stephen Shaw, Marcin Sui. It's gone to distance with a few guys. He got stopped by Hergovich, but that is what it is. Went for distance with Tulev. Yeah, he fought James Toney in 2004, and then he was inactive for 14 years. I'm presuming he went to prison or something. I think he did. But yeah, I've got Frank Martin winning that fight. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. Yeah, the whole Qatar thing's been bizarre. I think it's been bizarre. It's been so weird. And now you see it. You know that journalist who went out there and he tried to wear the LGBT shirt and get in a stadium? He got refused entry, the journalist from America. And there's a big hoopla about that on social media at the time. And a few weeks later, like a few days ago, he actually died in Qatar due to I think pneumonia maybe or something like that. And they're now trying to say that was basically murder. That's what they're trying to say. He was murdered. See, they're really trying to muddy the waters here. They're really trying to muddy the waters. That's what this is all about, in my opinion. So anybody out there, whatever religion you follow, man, Christianity, Islam, just keep it true to, hold on to it. Is what I would say. Hold on to it. Exactly. I agree. I agree, Superman. I agree. Yeah, the Jonathan Ross interview with James Toney was hilarious. Oh, James Toney in the day, man, was a good fighter, man. Boxing lacks those sort of characters now. Guys like James Toney, guys who would fight anyone, anywhere, anytime, and talk shit, win, lose, or draw. Talk shit. I like it. I like James Toney, man. But again, though, that's another thing with sport and just the world in general. There's very few characters now. There's very few characters just in life in the world. Do you know with Michel Rivera, right? When I see him fight, the thing that comes to my mind is a lot of style, but I'm not convinced in regards to how much substance is there. He looks flashy, he moves well, he's got a nice jab, but I just think Frank Sanchez is technically better. He's put together better. I think he holds his shape better. I think he's the harder puncher. And I just see vulnerability around Michel Rivera. I see vulnerability there. Oh, nice. Yeah, these progressives are very live and let live until it comes to faith. Yeah. Yeah, live and let live. Yeah, until it comes to faith and its diversity, until it comes to diversity of opinions. And like these people are like those sort of people are frauds, man. Those sort of people are frauds. Absolute frauds. All they do is push division. That's all they do. They do the bidding of the elites or the devil. May even say that's all they do. But it is what it is. Just don't fall for it, right? Yeah, Tony was funny, but he was super disrespectful. But like he kind of earned the right to be because like he would actually fight anybody. James Tony, he would fight anybody, win, lose, or draw. Like who could you say James Tony ducked? Like he fought everybody. James Tony. Yeah, he fought anyone from 160 to 260 pounds. Yeah, like even his fights with Samuel Peter, man, it's crazy. He had a crazy good chin as well, James Tony. When you're getting cracked by Samuel Peter, and by the way, he was a fat mess then as well at heavyweight. When you're a fat mess and you're getting cracked by Samuel Peter and you're not getting knocked out, you got a hell of a chin, man. Coming up from 160, you got a hell of a chin. Hell of a chin, James Tony. But again, man, those fighters are long gone now. There's very few of those sort of fighters, those road warriors, anyone, anywhere, anytime. Usyk's one. Usyk's one of the last of a dying breed. Roman Gonzalez. There's not many though. There's not many. There's not many. Really, not many. I've not seen those fights for a long time. I think I remember the second fight. I felt Peter clearly won. I don't really remember though. What's up, Michael Van Gerwen? Upset of the year? Trying to think. I can't even remember what's gone on this year. I can't even remember, to be honest with you, Michael. Um, Upset of the year. I'm struggling to think. Maybe. At lightweight, man, he was a hell of a fighter. That's a very good point. I saw an old church being sold off. The new owner turned it into a nightclub. That was done on purpose. I found it very disturbing. The house of God turned into the house of Satan, sign of the end times. That's mad. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. James Toney's a bail bond man now. That's amazing. That's fucking amazing. That's jokes, man. That, by the way, that's the thing about America. Yeah, that's a sick fucking, like, you couldn't do that in England. You can't do that in England. Bail bond. That's a hell of a job, man. Don't worry, I'm actually thinking of something else. I'm actually thinking about something else, Pete. I was thinking of a bounty hunter for some reason. I was thinking of a bounty hunter. Well, yeah, I agree, Reese. I mean, the whole pronouns thing's fucking ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. Brown over Far. Brown beat Far already, Levi. I thought Teofimo won. I thought Teofimo won. Yeah, I know, right? Might as well have some fun with it, Will. Might as well have some fun with it. But now it's called off, by the way. That fight's been called off. A day later, it gets called off. So I gave it the curse. I gave it the curse. Yeah, bro, I agree, Gerson. There's very few, man. There's very few fighters who are genuinely all about it. Like, who will fight anyone. There's very few. We could probably count on one hand. And God forbid what the next generation's going to be like. I know, right? More than likely, actually, yeah. I'm trying to think of upsets. Upsets. What upsets have happened? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I know. Albanian. Thoughts? Good fight, yeah. I mean, that can go either way. Rivas could do it early on. Yeah. Rivas could do it early on, but he fades quickly. And if he fades and he doesn't get rid of a Jagba, he might struggle to get past that jab. It's a good fight. I'm kind of unsure as of right now. Yeah, he probably messed up his cycle, Andrew. Honestly. I think that was last year. I might be wrong though. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Sandal Martin, was that this year? I reckon that was last year. I'm certain it was last year. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was last year. It was October last year. It was October last year. I don't really know about upset of the year though. I don't really know. Um, Russell was a favourite, but would you call that an upset? Would you call it an upset? Yeah, a Jagba should win. He's a foot taller, for Christ's sake. That's a good shout. Yeah, the closest thing we have to bounty hunters are community support officers, basically. Yeah, you're right, London Chef. You're basically right. That'd be a hell of a job, being a bounty hunter. That'd be a hell of a job. Can you imagine just staking someone out, like waiting for someone? That'd be a sick fucking job. That's the fucking dream, guys. It's for me to make enough money to get out of this country, go to somewhere like Alabama, and will become a fucking bounty hunter. That'd be fucking amazing. That'd be fucking amazing. Yeah, he would. Yeah, Ilya, yeah. He would kill Paddy. Yeah. I think that'll get it, yeah. That will get it. I would make Prograis a favourite over all of those guys, Gerson. I agree. I would make him a favourite. Tio as well. Tio's another one who I would pick Prograis over. Biggest upset in boxing. I mean, historically, it's always going to be Tyson and Douglas. In terms of significance, that's not going to be matched anytime soon. It's not going to be matched anytime soon. In recent years, Ruiz Joshua was big. I would favor Prograis, man. I would favor Prograis. But Prograis will be more aggressive against Tio, which gives Tio a chance. Oh, that was an upset. Yeah, Hector against Colbert. Yeah, that was a good win. Again, though, was that this year? Hector Garcia. I think it was this year. Yeah, that was this year. Yeah, that was this year. That was in February. He's actually fought twice this year. He beat Chris Colbert and Roger Gutierrez. So he's got 2 good wins. I assumed it was last year because PBC fighters only fight once a year usually. This guy's actually got 2 fights in. Fucking hell. He's done well there. He's done well. It's unusual to get 2 fights in. Fucking hell. I don't really know much about Keemstar. Well, I do, kind of, but like, he's made it work for himself. He's been relevant for like, what, 12 years? 15, 12 years, whatever. He's been relevant a long time. He's made it work for himself. He's made it work for himself somehow, some way. Fucking Keemstar. I didn't expect you guys to throw up a Keemstar reference in my chat. Tell you my favourite YouTuber back in the day. Like, for me, YouTube peaked. YouTube peaked in 2016. I think that's when YouTube, like, that's when it was at its... That was the last of the golden days of YouTube, was 2016. And I used to like Leafy is Here. I'm not going to lie to you. I know his content was super immature, but that guy just used to crack me up, man. I'm not going to lie. You couldn't make content like that anymore, though. You couldn't make content like that anymore. I like Leafy is Here. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of that fight, Will. I get you. Like, he's coming off 2 good wins, Garcia. He's coming off 2 good wins, but like he'd be going up in weight against Tank. He'd be going up in weight. I don't know. Favorite movie of the year? Bro, I've barely watched anything. I watched Halloween, the newest Halloween, which was terrible. Genuinely, that might have been the only movie I've watched this year. Not even kidding. Might have been the only movie I've watched this year. Have I watched any other movie? I can't fucking remember. Yeah, 2016, I think, was the last good YouTube year. And that's after that, YouTube kind of got really... That's when it went downhill. No, I'm not a fan of Batman. Never have been. I've never been into superhero movies. Just can't get into them. Never been into them. Do you know what I would like? I would like a modern day, like, Wild West movie. I'm surprised one hasn't been made because of like the popularity of like Red Dead Redemption. I'm surprised they never jumped on that trend. Have I met any boxers or had any responses to you on social media? I've met boxers. I've met David Hay. David Hay was actually, he surprised me. I've said this before, but David Hay was really cool. I've met James DeGale IRL. He was really cool. And I've met a few other smaller fighters, On social media, Spencer Fearon's commented on my channel a few times. Kugan Cassius blocked me on Twitter. Tank Davis actually retweeted something I said years ago. I was shitting on a fighter. I forget who it was, and Tank Davis retweeted me. That's about it. I don't know who I was shitting on, though. I don't know who I was shitting on. If he fights anybody at 122, I think it will be Akhmadaliev, because I think Stephen Fulton's going to 126. That's what I read, at least. I read that he's moving up. No, I've not played it. I don't think my PC could handle it anyway. Yeah, it was shit, Michael. It was shit. I liked a couple of the ideas, but they executed horribly. Hosea Burton sound in real life. Feel bad now. I always insult that guy. It's funny you say that, Will. I met Matt Skelton. I've met Matt Skelton a couple of times, and because he's a heavyweight, you think he'd be massive, but he really wasn't. He really wasn't. But yeah, Matt Skelton's a nice guy. That was in Bedford. That's where he lives, Bedford. That's where he's from. But Matt Skelton was sound. Matt Skelton used to be a decent domestic fighter back in the day, though. He actually fought Ruslan Shagayev as well for WBA regular title. But yeah, Matt Skelton is listed as 6'3". He's listed as 6'3" on like BoxRec and his boxing record. But when I met him, he was as tall as me. I'm 6'2". On a good day, I'm 6'2". Either that's the last time I measured anyway. It's either I've had a growth spurt or he's lying about his height. Do I train boxing IRL? Not really, not anymore. Now and again, I'll go to the gym, spar now and again, just to keep sharp, but not like religiously. No, I used to in my late sort of 17 to 19. I used to bang it out quite a lot, to the point where I was going to have like an amateur fight. One thing led to another. The guy pulled out. Then I changed jobs. Life got in the way, and I couldn't take training seriously anymore. But yeah, I got good enough to where I was going to have an amateur fight, but I never did. That's my level. Not great. I'm not great. He might do soon, though, behind the ropes. He might do soon. 7 is a good movie. 7 is a good movie, Wizard's Sleeve. That is a good movie. Morgan Freeman and, is it Brad Pitt? Oh, good luck, Will, man. Let me know how it goes. Good luck, bro. Never saw Spiral. No, never saw it. I heard mixed things about Spiral. Yeah, I think 2022 has been a pretty mediocre year for boxing. We've had a couple of high points, but like, I don't think anything necessarily stands out this year, to be honest. I guess maybe Canelo losing. We had AJ Usyk too. But again, nothing at welterweight. Middleweight's been barren, dead. Apart from AJ Usyk too, heavyweight's been pretty disappointing. No World Boxing Super Series. Saw 10 is now in the making with Tobin Bell in it. So what, they're going to go back and make sequels, Michael? I don't even remember if I watched the last Saw when Dr. Gordon came back. I know Dr. Gordon came back, but I don't remember if I watched that movie. Um, gun to my head, I would pick Fury, but I think it's a very hard fight, and I think Usyk can win. I'd be rooting for Usyk. Tell you the truth, I'd be rooting for Usyk. Bro, I still wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if like Oscar De La Hoya is Ryan Garcia's secret dad. Wouldn't be surprised. Look at a young Oscar and look at Ryan Garcia. Like if you said, let's say you never knew who either guy was, and somebody said that Oscar De La Hoya is Ryan Garcia's father, you wouldn't really think twice. Okay, so heard it was a story between 2 and 3. Okay. So Saw 1, we all know what happens. Saw 2, they go back and kill Adam. The police officer gets trapped in the room. Am I getting that right? Yeah, okay, I think I've got it right. I actually quite liked Saw 2. I thought Saw 2 was good. Saw 2, that scene where the needle pit, that always got to me, the needle pit. That part, that's the one trap in that movie that thought, fuck that shit. Crawford beat Spence easily and mismatch. I wouldn't go that far, bro. I wouldn't go that far. Errol Spence is going to be punching back for a start. I thought this year was pretty good. Usyk Joshua 2, Fury White, Bivol Ramirez, Estrada Chocolatito 3, Canelo Golovkin, Taylor Serrano, Shields Marshall. Don't get me wrong, there's been good fights, but like I just don't think it's been a consistent year. I really don't. I really don't. Yeah, the first Saw movie is good. Honestly, like I forget how the third one ended, but really, I think they should have really made it a trilogy. I remember really enjoying the first 3 movies. It's been a long time since I've seen them, but yeah, Saw used to be massive. It used to be such a big franchise. It used to be such a big franchise because it was different when it came out. It was something different. It kind of redefined the horror genre for several years. Because that's where the whole torture porn tag came from, was Saw. Even though the first Saw movie wasn't torture porn at all. I heard Jigsaw was bad. Yeah, I heard Jigsaw was shit. Yeah. Ryan's going through what Oscar went through in his early stage. When people say Oscar was a hype job, it's like I'm looking at Oscar De La Hoya's career all over again. I think Ryan has more talent than a lot of people like to let on, but I think he's got vulnerabilities there. One thing about Oscar had a granite chin. Oscar had a granite chin. I don't think Ryan does. Ryan's athletically gifted. He's quick. He's got real power. He's tall. He's rangy. He's got a lot of good attributes, but I don't think the chin's one of them. Honestly, Will, he needs to honestly take a look at himself and ask himself, does he want to do it anymore? Because, again, man, it just against Wardley, right? We actually saw that Gorman was technically better in that first round, and he had success. He then kind of semi buzzes Wardley, and Wardley kicks into overgear, like pure desire sets in, and he puts it on Gorman. Because Wardley wanted it. Say what you want about Wardley, but I think Wardley's a fighter at heart. He wanted it. And when that same question was asked of Gorman, I don't think he really shone through. And I think that's paralleled by the way he turns up in the ring out of shape. I'm not convinced he really wants to box. I think he does it because he can do it. Yeah, the Purge was decent. I know. I think, bro. I think Joshua destroys Dubois. Listen, Joshua's coming off bad form, but listen, he destroys Daniel Dubois. In my opinion, I think he'll destroy Dubois. I'm talking. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 2 or 3 rounds. Yeah, Garcia had a lot. Garcia had a lot of amateur fights. The only thing with Garcia is he never really did it internationally. He stayed in America, but yeah, he's got amateur experience, no doubt. Yeah, Huey Fury got ill. Michael Van Gerwen, he got ill again. Huey's immune system's fucking AIDS. Maybe literally, who knows? Because that guy's always getting sick. That guy's always getting sick. And that was an interesting fight as well against Michael Hunter. I was looking forward to that. That was going to be a decent or intriguing fight at least. It might not have panned out to be entertaining, but like in regards to competitive nature, it was a good fight. My amateur record's 12-0 with 11 knockouts. If that is true, I'm kind of doubting you, Albanian boxer, but if that is true, that's impressive. Especially with like the big gloves on and head guard. Again, I don't think they'll let Dubois anywhere near Hunter. I really don't. Don't listen, bro. Don't be shocked, Michael Van Gerwen, if they try to re-explore Dubois versus Lucas Brown, because Dubois right now is an accident waiting to happen. In my opinion, I think the worst thing to happen to Dubois was getting that regular title because it puts a certain expectation on him. When in reality, he needs development fights. But when you've got a title, even though it's a fake title, you can't really do that. You can't really do that. And we saw with Lorena, it nearly went wrong. Yeah, you know boxing's going through a bad spell when Okone's in the headlines. uh, you're right with the sleeve. You're right. I've not really looked at that situation, to be honest with you. I've not really looked at it. Maybe. Honestly, with Dubois, who would I have him in there with? Like, if I'm Frank Warren, I'd be really kind of scraping the barrel. I really would. I really would. Maybe a Caballel type for Dubois. Unbeaten record, not a big puncher. He's awkward, but doesn't really have high output. Maybe a Caballel would be a good fight for him. Maybe Caballel or an Otto Wallin. Maybe. Again, they're risky fights, though. They are risky fights. But if he's got a regular title, he needs to fight somebody decent. And those are the lowest level guys I can think. Maybe Ali Aaron Demarezen, maybe. Maybe iBoxing, maybe you're right. Wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. Again, I think Dubois is actually better technically. But listen, one thing I saw about Wardley's very inexperienced, right? He's very raw because he started boxing late, no amateur fights. And we can see that in his style, but the guy's got the eye of a tiger, I think. Like when he got hit, when he got his nose busted, that fucking lit a fire under his ass. And I like to see that. I like to see that. And we know Dubois, it doesn't seem like he has that. Doesn't seem like he has that. I'll pull it to you like this way. I'll pull it to you this way. Who would you be more confident in? Let's say Wardley gets dropped in that fight. Uh, I'd be more confident in him coming back and maybe doing something than I would Dubois. Yeah, you might be right. But even Wallin, though, is Wallin risky or did Tyson Fury just make him look good? I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both, honestly. I think Tyson Fury made him look better than he really is. I think he's all right, but that's it. I just think he's all right. Nah, he took out Nick Webb, man. Daniel Dubois is rank rotten. Fucking hell. He is, yeah. He's not great, is he? Oh, Daniel. He's not great. I almost feel sorry for him because he seems like a nice kid. And when he's pushed up in the spotlight, he just seems so fucking uncomfortable. I don't mean to like be fucking nasty, but like I almost feel for him. I'm not saying that ironically or like to take the piss. Basically, I genuinely feel for him because I don't think he enjoys what he does. But having said that, I mean a lot of people are like that, right? With their regular jobs. I mean, he's getting paid well. Fuck that guy. He's getting paid well. Fuck him. I'll take back what I said. I'll take back what I said. Yeah, he was. He was. Dubois versus Chisora. Honestly, bro, I don't know if I trust fucking Dubois. What happens if Chisora lands one of those big swinging overhand rights? Who knows? Yeah, but again, I wasn't impressed with Wallin against what's his face, Sakalowski. That worried me. That did. I agree, Will Stokes. Yeah, he needs a lot more time, Dubois. In reality, they should drop that WBA regular title and just have a couple of years taking like incrementally, like just incrementally step up time and and go through the levels kind of thing. I mean, they had that split, Michael Van Gerwen. They had that split, which was obviously Carl Frampton was with Cyclone Promotions, which was Barry McGuigan. There was a lot of hoopla around money and tickets and God knows what else. And yeah, it's just really messy. I think White has a good chance against Dubois. In fact, I'd probably pick White to beat Dubois. I would pick White to beat Dubois. I pick White to beat Dubois. If I was managing Dillian White, I would say take Dubois. It's a winnable fight. Don't get me wrong, Dillian White's chin is going as well. Dillian White's chin is going, but again, I would have more faith in Dillian White's. One thing about Dillian White, I don't really like the guy, but he's got heart. I would say he's got guts. He's got that fighter's instinct. Whereas I could see him coming through some bad spells against Dubois and getting through it, but I'm not convinced Dubois could do the same against White. Yeah, Ken Shiro's a good shout. I think they'll give it to Bivol though. Yeah, I know vaguely what happened. Yeah, I did see that on Twitter. I saw that on Twitter. Okie dokie. But yeah, Bivol's going to get it. Dimitri Bivol's going to get it. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. And by the way, guys, if you could smash the like as well, would be much appreciated. Be much appreciated. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? So apparently, yeah, but I'm just reading this on Boxing Scene. Apparently, the Middle Eastern Professional Boxing Committee shut down Char Brown and bans the promoter from future events in the Middle East. Why? Okay, so they're complaining the way the promoter handled the events has damaged the goodwill of the sport, and multiple complaints have been received. There is no proper venue nor government permits to provide the date. Okay, crazy. Whatever is what it is. Charles Martin for Dubois. Yeah, yeah. One thing about Martin though, he's got a dangerous southpaw left hand. And again, we saw how Dubois got hit with that southpaw left against Lorena. Would you risk it if you was managing Dubois? I'd like to see it as a fan, but if you was Frank Warren, I probably wouldn't put Martin in there with Dubois. Because you have to look at it like this as well. If Martin beats Dubois, Dubois is done. You can't recover from that. You know? In the eyes of casuals, it's not a respectable loss. Whereas Joe Joyce was. You know? I'd support Martin big, laugh out loud. Actually, do you know what? That is a good shout though, Will. As a fan, I would like to see that fight. If that fight gets made next, no complaints from me. I'd actually watch it. I'd watch it. I wouldn't complain. And I like to fucking complain. I wouldn't complain there. Yeah, I think he stops Yard mid-rounds. The only time that's a good point. I find postcode wars cringe. Fighting for a council postcode. Yep. And especially like most of these guys don't own any properties where they're doing that either. Like the only way you should fight for your postcode is literally fight for your postcode. If your house is being invaded, that's the only time you should fight for a postcode. Fight for your property. I know, Al. I know. I get you, bro. Better Biev's the fight. Better Biev is the fight. If he could beat Better Biev, man, I mean, it's a good run. Because he's got, what, 10 title defenses as well? And on top of that, if he were to become undisputed by beating Better Biev, then hell of a legacy. I think he might be the longest reigning champion in boxing right now, Bebo. I think. I'm certain that he is in terms of title defenses. I think he's got 9 or 10 title defenses. He's doing quite well. I'm glad he's fought twice as well this year. I'm glad he's fought twice. Yeah, I saw that, yeah. He's fighting Demetrius Nicholson, or whatever his name is, DeAndre Nicholson. Desmond Nicholson or something like that. On boxing scene, Blair Cobbs believes he will run through Terence Crawford. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Mike, in regards to Dubois. And as for Canelo, depends on who he fights. We don't really know who he's going to fight. But yeah, I agree in regards to Dubois. Drop that title and try to get development fights. Because he's still, what, 25? That's very young for a heavyweight. We were saying earlier, though, Mike, I don't know whether you was here. Ideally, this is where you need David Price to come out of retirement. David Price versus Daniel Dubois. Tell me you wouldn't be excited. Tell me you wouldn't be excited. Benavidez late stoppage. Again, I think Caleb would start that fight well, but I think he would start to feel the pace quite quickly. He'd probably be winning after 4 or 5 rounds, but Benavidez is gonna chip away at him. He'll maintain that work rate, maintain that pressure, and I think he'll stop him late. Personally. That's how I see that fight going. I know, right? Dubois versus Price would be fucking amazing. I know, man. I'm trying. I actually thought for the first time we would get that fight. I thought we would get it this year, end of this year. But I don't know now, man. I've got my hopes up again after forgetting about it for a long time, and it let me down. Yeah, Povetkin is like super shot though as well. He's super shot. I don't think he'd risk it though, bro. I don't think he'd risk Dubois against Chisora. I know Chisora is washed to all hell. I think he'd still beat Babic. I think Babic is too small. Maybe I'm looking too much into that Lorena fight, but like he was so bad in that fight. So vulnerable. Yeah. Can you imagine? I'm not sure what Doctor Gloves is. I do know what that is. I don't know. I don't know whether I want to research it, mate. To be honest, I do know what that is. I don't know whether I could handle researching it. I'm one of those. I know what I can handle. Not sure if I could handle that. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not though. Probably not. That just pissed me off too much. That case. I do know what you're referring to, yeah. Probably pissed me off too much. Well, it would piss me off too much. Sakalowski beats Daniel Dubois. Oh, no, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. I know, man. I know. Dubois right now is just fucking. I wouldn't be betting on him if I was a betting man. I'd be betting against him in certain fights. Like Charles Martin is the perfect example. If that fight were to be made next, I'd have a little wager on Charles Martin. I'd have a little bet on Charles Martin. He may be able to land that straight left. Because he does hit hard, Charles Martin. He does hit relatively hard. But yeah, I'd love to see that fight. When Price versus Povetkin was announced, I was firmly in Price's. Sorry, what? Sorry, hang on. When Price versus Povetkin was announced, I was firmly in Price's decision, but I knew for a fact that he'd be put on pure oxygen by the end of the night. Yeah, I know, man. I think so as well, Gerson. I think so as well. I know, right? It'd be great. It'd be a great fight. That will happen. That fight will happen. I think that will happen next, Albanian boxer. And I agree. I think Connor's going to struggle. See, that's where Charles Martin. If my nickname was Prince, let's say I was a prospect and I called myself Prince, what? That's my nickname. If I become a world champion, I'd call myself King. Like it would change from Prince to King. No, I agree. I think Anderson beats Dubois. I've still got a few question marks over Anderson's defense, but yeah, I mean, I think he would beat Dubois. I think that's basically though, Al. I think basically that's what they're going to do with Dubois. They're going to have him feast on real low level guys until he gets cashed out. Let's say, for example, Fury beats Usyk. Don't be surprised if you then see Fury Dubois all British fight. Yeah, that's the thing with Anderson. He does get touched. He does get touched, and he's not really fought a puncher yet. He's not really fought a puncher yet. That's what I'd be worried about if I think Dubois. Sorry, I think Anderson's got a lot of athletic ability. He's quick. I like his variety of his work as well. I like how he goes from body to head. He puts his shots together. Good combination puncher. Good speed. He's got a lot going for him, but he needs to tidy up defensively. Sometimes he gets a little too excitable, in my opinion. But he's young. He's what is he? 23 years old. Again, he's getting a lot of hype now. So when there's hype, there's expectation to like step up. In reality, the hype is probably a bit too early. Like he needs some learning fights still, in my opinion. I wouldn't go near. I don't know. I think those fights are too early for him. Maybe he could win, but I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. If I was managing Jared Anderson, I would probably have him in there with Carlos Takam next. Honestly, someone like a Carlos Takam in a 10 rounder. That's how I would. I would have him fight someone like Takam next. Get him some rounds. I'd be surprised if he took out Takam early. Nobody does, even now. Like you saw Takam go the distance with Makhmadov, for example. I think that's what he needs now is a fight in which takes him a few rounds. And I think Takam's ideal. But anyway, guys, I need to wrap this one up. We've been going now for 3 hours and about 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. Got to work tomorrow, early start. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. More than likely, this is the last stream before Christmas. If I can do one more, I will do. But we'll see. But have a good Christmas, guys. Stay safe, and enjoy yourselves. Spend your time with your loved ones, and yeah, just take care of yourselves and enjoy. Peace, guys.